Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome to the TNT podcast inaugural episode 0. We are here to hopefully entertain you with some chit-chat about what myself and my fine co-hosts are looking forward to in the world and enjoying, and have some real discussions about super nerdy topics that only you care about. But
I believe we care about them too. But
if you're here, you probably are subscribed to my YouTube. You know Timpedia. I do Let's Plays and stuff for a few years now, mostly Star Wars stuff. But I have two of my good friends here who are my fine co-hosts. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
How's it going? I'm Andrew. I've known Timpedia since we were in elementary school, so it's good to finally be on the channel.
Yeah, and my name's Tyler. I've known Timpedia. And,
you can call me Tim. You don't have to say Tim.
Oh, we're gonna.
Man. I feel like I gotta throw the advertisement, click that link, clickety-clack that like button, and subscribe button.
Subscribe, comment. Really helps the channel. Not at all.
But I've known these guys for a year, and it's nice to know that we share common interests.
We really do.
And I look forward to discussing these things.
Yeah.
Whether it be like rage-inducing or hyping, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. All aspects, all spectrums are gonna be fantastic.
It's certainly gonna be fun, and
yes.
So
above all,
so we're gonna basically break this show down into 2 segments, and we're gonna obviously play with the format and stuff over the first few weeks. That's why this is the episode 0, the infamous not really good episode, but
the trial episode.
Yeah, the test bed. Although we're certainly gonna do more because I think we all really loved this idea when I had it a few weeks ago. And we're also going to probably bring on friends and such at some point. We all have the same group of friends. We're our 6-person D&D group. Probably bring some of them on. I have some other guests lined up, at least some other cool people to bring on. So we're going to start off with some news that interests all of us. We've all kind of gone through the last week. That's what we're going to try to do for the show, is go through the last week and find news stories that at least one of us, if not 2 or all of us, are really excited about. Could be anything, movies, video games. We all play Magic the Gathering. We're all into D&D, nerd stuff, so just a huge breadth of stuff. And actually, Freeman, why don't you explain this story, because this story is something that I probably know the least about out of everybody.
All right, so I'll open this. I was pretty excited to see this news the other day, but Nintendo went and announced the Nintendo new 2DS XL.
yes!
I wanted to think about how many new titles they added onto this new Nintendo 2DS, but so they had the new 3DS, which is essentially just like, it's essentially like the PlayStation 4 Pro. It's like the beefier hardware spec version of Nintendo DS, but they got rid of the 3D features, which they already did for the regular 2DS, which they kind of marketed for kids because it doesn't have, your folding clasp. It's basically indestructible. You can throw it against a wall. It's fine. And now they're putting out this, essentially, it's a lot sleeker looking version of the new 3DS. But it doesn't have the 2D features.
You know what? While we're talking about it, I'm actually going to look at it, because I have not actually looked at it yet.
Pretty cool.
It's a DS though.
Whoa. It looks like a DS. Like, it's like if someone didn't tell you what it was, you'd be like, that is one of the DSs, definitely.
Yeah, this looks like a DS. Wow. I mean,
but it's like, why call it a 2DS? I know you have to differentiate.
So here's the thing. I feel like, when the little bit I've heard about this literally just today on listening to another podcast and hearing you guys talk about it, I feel like this is just Nintendo saying, even though we got the Switch, we recognize that it's not amazing for on the go. Like, you can play it around the house, but not necessarily on the go for super long. So let's have a mobile offering, but we recognize that with the Switch being our primary platform, we can't really support 3D anymore. So let's make another 2DS so that no one feels bad about losing that 3D software they've already bought. And then in 2 more years, we'll have this next, probably more like 3 years, we'll have the next Switch model and a more 2DS-like Switch thing with 2 screens. Because I think they love the 2-screen paradigm.
They really do, because it kind of helps with some game design. But Nintendo has done this in the past. So when the Nintendo DS came out, they were parading around that, they had 3 pillars of video games. There was the GameCube, the Game Boy Advance, and the Nintendo DS. And then shortly after that, they came out with the Game Boy Micro, which was the budget, hardware, like conscious.
Yo,
version
I was
for
so
people
into
use.
the Game Boy Micro for 5
Dude, the
minutes
micro
when
was
I
hype.
saw
You
it.
sit there playing like Pokemon Fire Red in class, and no one would
The
notice.
problem is, I thought it was like tiny but cool, and then when I actually saw it, I'm like, that's just too small.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think the cool thing though about it was that they had the interchangeable skins. I don't
Did
know
they?
why
That was
I didn't
pretty
even
cool.
know that.
Yeah, you could buy like 100 different skins for them. It was pretty great. In fact, it's probably one of the most customizable like Nintendo products like ever created. You don't see much of that anymore.
Not at all. There's no skin. I remember the original 360 model had the faceplates.
Oh my god, I missed those.
Oh, yeah.
I missed those. I have a Master Chief one on mine. Because
My
I
old
don't
one
know.
just had a purple one because Ed actually either got one or just had one and then got a better one. He's like, Tim, you just want this purple one? I'm like, I guess it's not white.
The
Why
purple
not?
one.
Because
Right.
the matte white ones would get dirty and look kind of gross.
Yeah.
So Ed gave me like a reflective purple one, and he had like Mass Effect or something. I don't remember.
I mean, that's one of the things that's kind of coming back with consoles. Like, I remember I had a GameCube, and they came with like plastic skins for it. It looked crazy cool. But you got like special edition versions of these consoles now have
Well,
you know,
but
graphics from the game
I don't
on
think
them.
that's the same though. That's like they recognized that there
know.
was a secondary market here, and they're like, why let a secondary market determine this when we can just print it on the console ourselves and not let people
Right.
swap it around?
Yeah,
Because then it's
I
more
wish you could,
exclusive.
though.
people did still
Yeah,
make their own custom
also-
ones though.
Yeah, because they also make a lot more money, right, on the people that just like trade in their old consoles. for the new
Yeah. Oh my
ones.
God. The people.
Yeah,
Or they just build up more hype because it's like, guys, I gotta sell my Xbox One because the Master Chief Halo 6 Xbox One is coming out, and I
Okay.
need that one.
which brings us back to the 2DS because we kind of got a little off
yeah,
topic. there.
really.
But
But that's so
they-
true though. Nintendo does it all the time though with this stuff, right?
I remember
they hype the next thing.
I remember they've come out with so many. Like right after I got the, my girlfriend got me the new 3DS last year, which I've barely touched, unfortunately. And then right away they started coming out with special editions of that, like the Zelda one, Pokemon, like all these
Oh my
special
god, the
That
editions.
Mario one
Zelda
was so
one-
hyped this
that
Christmas.
Zelda one was so. They had a few iterations actually.
Yeah,
Of the Zelda one.
but
Those things
there's
sell
a-
for a shit ton.
but the problem is, you only need one.
You only need one, but people are out there. They're willing to trade in
Oh, of
their
course.
old just for
Dude,
the new.
it's-
Like my friend, right? When Uncharted 4, which is dumb. I didn't like the design. There was nothing to this design for the PS4,
Mm-hmm.
the Uncharted 4 PS4. But he's like, "Oh no, I gotta have it. I gotta have it." It wasn't even a PS4 Pro. It wasn't like any of the new stuff. It was just like I want it. It didn't even have. I think it had Nathan Drake on it, but it was mostly like just a blue PS4. I'm like, there's
Ugh.
nothing even interesting to
No.
this.
See, it'd be funny. I would actually, you'd think that it would encourage Nintendo to make a great, like, account system with cloud saves and stuff like that, because then
Oh
it's
my
so
God,
much.
never gonna happen.
Could you imagine if you could make it so that you just have one active, like, 3DS or 2DS at a given time, and all you have to do is open it up and punch in a code, and it immediately makes it active, and all your stuff is saved in the cloud. So
You don't
all you need to
understand how
do-
bad Nintendo is about this.
No,
you have
I
to
know they're
rebuy
terrible.
games.
Yeah.
Like
I
I
know
have a
they're
3DS. I had to
terrible.
rebuy like the what's it called? Nintendo Store games. It's stupid.
That's dumb.
But I'm
I think
saying-
Like
that's-
they're just finally catching up to everyone else with like their new iteration.
Oh,
of
I
the
know
eStore.
it's terrible, but could you imagine if they were smart and did it like that? Then you could sell these alternate models like hotcakes because someone doesn't have to risk giving up everything they bought or any physical stuff that doesn't work. It's like, I just want that hot new skin, but I don't feel the need to get rid of it. And so
Right.
there's that market for people who are like me where they don't want to buy a second one because they don't want to go through the hassle of selling the
don't
original and
wanna.
losing stuff.
well, you can do it for the 3DS actually.
Yeah, but it still takes forever.
for stuff like game saves.
It takes forever. Yeah. So and like all of your information because I've done this before.
Oh yeah, I've done like the transfer from one console to another, but I only really do that like when I went from like the old 3DS to the new 3DS, and I haven't really done it since
Yeah.
then.
They have that, and that's about it. Like you have no console sharing, which PS3 has, and I know, or like the
There was a whole
PlayStation-
market around sharing accounts on PS3.
360 also had
Yeah.
it, I think.
They do, yeah. Like because
Xbox One, I think also does still.
in fact, I think Xbox One did a better job than PlayStation
I
on some fronts.
genuinely haven't used my Xbox One enough because I still can't finish my Halo collection Let's Play, much less go into 4 and 5.
God, did I tell you that those cutscenes almost brought me to tears?
In what?
Just how beautiful they were in Halo 2.
Oh my god. Yeah, the only problem is it's so freaking hard on Legendary.
It is.
I think we've talked about you coming over and helping me do this because I can only play
should.
it locally. We need to do that.
I should. Didn't you say you had an issue with the recording, though? Or is it just because
Well, no, it's more like because online I can't really do microphones with people. So it's hard to
Right.
coordinate. But Halo 2 is so much harder on Legendary because if you die, if either of you die, you just fly back to the checkpoint.
Yeah.
How
that
far
game
back
is
is the
fucking
checkpoint usually?
It varies. Just go. Freeman, I'll send you to a link to one of the videos. I basically skipped Halo 2 and went straight to 3, and now I need to go
Yeah.
back and do 2 and ODST at some point.
Fucking
It's
ODST.
nuts. All right, let's move on to the next topic because we're already in deep.
Too deep.
Oh, this is a pretty quick one. This is just something really cool. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 coming out basically tomorrow night, technically, I guess, because tomorrow's Thursday, but
Yeah,
officially releasing
buddy.
on Friday. Yo, I'm hyped as hell for that movie. I'm sitting looking within 5 feet at my Star-Lord jacket that you guys all know I have. My girlfriend got
Are you
me
wearing
for
it to the
our
showing?
first Christmas. What?
Are you wearing it to the showing?
Absolutely. I'm not going. I don't think we're going to go to a midnight showing, but I definitely plan on going very, very soon because
Nice.
I freaking love
Yeah, I'm excited
Guardians
for this
1. Chris Pratt is one of my favorite one of my favorite movie stars. He's just such a nice guy and like in and off the screen.
I'll say, are you a real fan? Because, man, I liked him when he had, like, the dad bod gut going on in Parks and Rec.
I loved him in Parks and Rec. You
From,
kidding?
Like,
I was
day
so
one.
Real
hyped
fans.
when he was going to be in Guardians. I was like, "Oh my god, this is so fantastic!" How's he going to do this? Chris Pratt's just such a goofy guy, and it
Right,
just
and then he
works
pulled it
so
off.
well.
He pulled it off really well.
Like
and
he's the kind of person. You know, it's funny actually. Now that it just popped into my head, but I could almost see him being one of those people who's like did that Indiana Jones remake if they ever do one. He has that kind of just
I could
see him
easy,
doing it.
casual charisma, but now that we've seen him in Guardians do like sick action moves, he actually seems like he could totally pull off that whole package.
I would have rather seen him in an indie, like, sequel or remake, whatever, than Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the other
character
thing he was in.
did
I couldn't
Jurassic
remember.
Park kind of like his Jurassic Park character could have been Indiana Jones if they toned it back a little bit in terms of his
Yeah.
I don't-
cockiness.
I don't
but-
think that was really his fault, though. I think that was Jurassic.
No,
I think,
the writing.
and the funny
It was
thing is, I
definitely the
liked
writing, in my
Jurassic
opinion.
World.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I think Jurassic World is definitely better than
I didn't
3.
like it.
I think Jurassic World is definitely the second or third best Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
Because I've never been a huge fan of 2.
I
But I
honestly
recognize
don't
that
remember
2.
most of them except the first one.
I'm pretty sure that 2 is better than Jurassic World on a technical level, but I just kind of like Chris Pratt so much. And I did enjoy a bunch of things in Jurassic World. Actually, as goofy as they were with like him leading the raptors and everything, that's stupid as hell. But it's cool to see a guy
It was
charging
really
on a
enjoyable to watch.
it's
motorcycle.
cool.
It's like
Yeah.
they're ganging up on the stupid super dinosaur.
Yeah, man. Chris Pratt's like Mama Duck to
The
these like,
Indominus
raptors,
Rex.
and it's pretty cool.
Indominus Rex, the stupidest name. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. It's more just let's get hype. Guardians 2's coming out.
Yeah.
If only we
Speaking
could
of
all.
not hype.
Maybe we'll all go see a Thursday night midnight showing after D&D tomorrow.
God,
Oh, maybe.
Just be like, let's all
I-
party up.
I couldn't do it. I don't know. I want to, right? I want to. It's just something about like the crowded theaters.
See,
All
I
people just
Right.
shouting shit at the camera the whole time.
Yeah, I like to have a different movie experience. I know I'm lame.
no, that's
know I'm
fair.
lame.
See, I always lament not being able to go to movie premieres. Like I remember my rich uncle got to go to the world premiere, or certainly one of those red carpet kind of premieres of I think episode 3. And I was like, wow, can you like
that's pretty great.
like I wish I want to go to that premiere. I don't want to go to the public Thursday night release. I want to go
That
to
red carpet.
the
shit,
red carpet
yeah.
where everyone just goes nuts at the end.
Like the
'cause
real
they're
genuine,
so
like real
hyped.
premiere.
because they're there because they love the movie, not because they're like, hey, what's the new hot stuff coming out? Like there's no jackass teenagers sneaking onto that red carpet event where there's like a few hundred tickets maybe in one night and they're like $500 each. Like that's not
that
that's
would be
not,
an experience.
Actually, my dad got to go with him because we have a
Really?
pass. If you
screw you, Tim,
when you guys
coming with
when you guys I wasn't invited. When you guys come over tomorrow for D&D, if you look on the board next to our front door, there's that. I believe the pass is still hanging there because my dad left it there, and
All
it's
right,
like Revenge of the Sith.
I gotta see this.
It's pretty
This is
legit.
amazing.
But anyway,
that's cool.
Guardians 2. Can't wait to see it.
Guardians 2.
Well, but
Yeah.
see, but Tyler, here's the problem though.
What?
I don't want to wait 2 weeks.
I know. Me either. Trust me.
Like I think this is probably a movie where I'm so hyped to see it, I'll put up with the crowds. Like I don't like that either. I mean, me and Val went to see Star Wars 7 on like opening day, I think actually. I'm pretty sure we went on the Friday of release.
Yeah, because you really want to see the movie. Like,
See,
I
that's
respect
not
that.
why. I actually didn't want to do that, but her mom was like,
Really?
"Hey, I got tickets. Want to go?" And I'm like,
I got tickets.
"Well, I have to go now."
Damn.
And then my soul
Yeah,
died a little.
I would have gone for the opening, so I was so excited, but I had to hold back for some buddies. But honestly, if you can avoid spoilers, I would even wait. Like, I waited 2-3 weeks to see Rogue One because I did not want to deal with people just, like, screaming during the movie.
Which happened. I did go to opening weekend for Rogue One, and I knew it was gonna happen. There was cheering, there was clapping.
Yo,
there was boos.
that is okay because I was popping off when Rogue One was on. I was like, all the damage that had been done to me by Force Awakens was like partially repaired by the awesomeness
Oh
of
yeah,
Rogue One.
I forgot
Yeah.
you didn't like Force Awakens.
Mostly
that
no,
much.
but we're gonna not go into that topic because
We'll
Are we
have this
saving it?
discussion when
saving
when
it.
8
We'll
comes
bookmark
out. We'll
this.
have this discussion.
we'll bookmark this for when we need to have when we need a discussion topic. We'll dig into it a little bit because
Yeah.
this is what the whole channel is already, and I don't need more of this.
I guarantee you. So audience, for future reference, this is gonna happen.
There is going to be a multiple podcasts where something related to Star Wars is the discussion topic.
Like we've got
Star
2 confirmed
Wars,
topics. Like, what's the deal with 7, and is Final Fantasy 13 a good game?
It's
Those
Final
are like
Fantasy
2
13.
confirmed topics
No.
that will happen.
I have, which sucks because now I have to play the game again.
Well, you have a week.
I have not all the way, right? But I have to play some of it just to refresh myself and be like, this is why I didn't like this game.
All right.
Here's
No.
some of the
We're
points.
not
No,
doing
we
this.
can't have
We're not
that.
doing this. This is a
We've got
discussion
two
We're not
topic for
doing
another
it.
week.
This is what happens.
This
This
is a
what happens,
discussion topic
audience.
for later. Anyway,
Anyway.
so for our next topic, we're gonna go in pretty deep into the nerdiness here.
Oh man, this is a good one.
Me and
Oh.
Andrew here. I'm gonna call him Friedman for basically the
You
rest
can,
of the
you,
podcast.
can, you can call me by my last name. It's fine.
It's a high school thing. Don't worry about it.
I'm not privy to it.
We are so deep in Magic the Gathering. It's pretty bad. Like in our friend group, we're both we're the most far in. We're the two guys who are like, "Yo, did you see that announcement?" It's like, "Yeah, we did."
Like
That's
we
crazy."
sit down to play. Everyone they're like, "Oh, let's play." Everyone pulls out their deck. We pull out our suitcases and backpacks.
Yeah,
full of
I
decks,
pull out
going,
my
what am I
suitcase
playing
literally,
today?
and it's like, "Hey, which of these 8 commander decks I have on me am I playing today?"
Yeah.
Like I still
But
have
no, it's
about 6 decks on my desk that I just am looking at right now because they can't fit in the case with everything else. But anyway,
For the Yu-Gi-Oh fans out there, they're basically like 2 Seto Kaivas in the room.
yeah. Well, yeah. Says
arguing
the
about
guy.
whose Blue Eyes Dragon
wait,
is going to
says-
beat the other Blue
Blue Eyes
Eyes White
White
Dragon.
Dragon.
says the guy who has the Yu-Gi-Oh game running on autopilot every time we play D&D.
Hey man. All right,
deck
I'm
has
actually
no
toning
pathetic
down
cards.
because I was supposed to run this relinquished deck and it was terrible. I worked so hard to get it and it sucks. It sucks terrible. I'm like, screw this game.
All right.
I'm not actually gonna play it.
So not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh because that game's
But
trash.
Magic.
But
Magic the Gathering.
Magic's
Damn.
not a trash game.
But you're not wrong though. I agree with you. This is where I agree with you. Yu-Gi-Oh is a garbage game.
So the past week has been an insane week for Magic the Gathering bans and announcements and such. So
Yeah, it's been pretty unusual with this ban cycle.
Taking it back, so last week was the banned and restricted announcement for the Amonkhet release, which happened because that's
last Friday.
That's when the normal one was. That's not the new release cycle that they have for banned and restricted. That's post Pro Tour. This is the pre-Pro Tour ban.
Oh yeah, this is really important for context. Wizards doubled the amount of times per year they're willing to evaluate and ban cards in all formats, but this mostly matters for Standard because that's like their moneymaker.
Well, also because Standard's been
Standard's kind of trash
right
now.
You know, someone made a comment on the Magic Reddit saying Standard really hasn't been good since the 2-block system came out, and they're not really wrong.
Yeah, they're not.
Not that we play Standard, but we track everything.
I keep track. It's fun to watch Standard on we
keep an eye on everything, but I mean, we don't have anywhere to really go play anything. We just kind of play casual with everybody.
Yeah.
But we don't really. We just play Commander basically at this point.
All about that Modern. But do I? You want to keep going about the ban?
Yeah. Sorry. Well, first, I just can't remember. Is this the original time slot or is this the new time slot that they doubled to?
So,
I think this
so
is
Monday's
the original, right?
Monday's ban was the original. They do the ban and restricted the Monday before the Friday of set release.
That's what I thought. So this is not the new one yet. So they came out with the ban and restricted announcement, and this is going into having Standard with only.
It was a 2-deck format, basically.
It was 2-deck format. It was Mardu vehicles and multiple
Saheeli
blends
combo.
of Saheeli, Felidar Guardian. I think 4-color was established as pretty much the
4-color
dominant one.
was just popping up. I couldn't believe it was happening. But
so we have these these 2 decks, and the ban restricted comes out. No changes to Modern, which is fine. Sensei's top banned in Legacy, which is wild because Miracles is 90%.
Miracles is now dead.
Someone immediately posted on the Reddit saying someone will try to keep it alive, and it was a picture of Isochron, Scepter, and Brainstorm.
Oh yeah, the combo works.
And then Vintage, Gush, and Gitaxian Probe restricted, which is actually crazy for Vintage.
It's pretty interesting that Wizards is going about this new approach because they didn't even hide it. This was to help bring back the Mentor decks that were just getting a little too
You mean
good.
bring down the Mentor decks?
What did I say? Bring up?
You said bring back, and it's like they were struggling.
Oh no, I meant like reel back, like kind of tone them down a little bit.
Tone them back, yeah, I get
But like
you.
Wizards
Bring
has
'em
been
back,
pushing
they
this
never
idea.
left.
Oh yeah, bring them back, top of the format. But Wizards has been pushing this idea that they want to like tone back on enablers rather than like small little things. Like when Siege Rhino came out and it kind of broke Junk Pod and Modern. They're like, let's get rid of Pod. That's clearly the enabler. Like Siege Rhino wasn't the issue. And now you're kind of seeing this twist back into like, oh, well, Mentor is a cool deck. Let's just get rid of all this other stuff that makes it not quite as good.
I mean, the problem is Gush is just such a broken card.
It really
Like
is.
Gush and Gitaxian Probe is perfect information for 2 life. That's nothing in Vintage.
Yeah.
That's not a cost. So, but anyway, so that was the announcement, and everyone's like, "Up, Standard's dead. Time to just stick with Mardu vehicles and Copycat through the Pro Tour, and all the way to the next ban and restricted announcement." And then Wednesday
That's
night
a
rolls
busted
around.
card.
What?
What the heck? I'm actually looking up these cards because I don't know what these cards do.
Oh yeah, no, Gush is busted, dude.
Gush is stupid. Return 2 islands you control.
Instead of
card.
yeah, and yeah,
And then you draw 2. That's so busted.
If there's
dude.
anything I've learned in Magic, it's free spells are bad. They're
Vintage is
I
the
mean, they're
home
good,
of the
but
free
they're bad.
spells and the things that make them cost not free. But anyway, so then Wednesday night rolls around, and all of a sudden, me and Freeman are like looking at both probably within minutes of each other, looked on the Magic subreddit, and it's like addendum to the ban and restricted list. And it's like, what does this even
This is
mean?
like unheard of. I was not playing Magic the last time this happened. I was like 8 years old the last time there was this.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, here's this other ban.
Yeah, by the way, the set's not out yet, but Memory Jar is banned because that card is busted.
Yeah.
So then, addendum. What does this mean? Click on the link. Felidar Guardian is, in fact, banned in Standard. And then everyone is like, oh my god, it's the end of the world. Emergency ban. Well, they needed to, but they shouldn't have emergencied. And they're like, oh, we needed the data from Amonkhet releases.
It was chaotic for the first 2 days leading up to the ban. Everyone's like complaining that it's unreasonable they didn't ban this. It's so stupid. And then the second it gets banned, everyone's like, oh, Wizards are their heavy-handed. banning? What are they doing?
So I think the thing of it is, it was definitely the right call because it's
100%.
But the fact it's pretty much I never want to accuse them of lying, but it's pretty. It can't be the whole truth to say we collected data from pre-release standard. Like Amonkhet's not even out yet, but there's
so
just
they
been
did
a
a full release of Amonkhet on MTGO, and they were watching. I think it was Monday night and Tuesday night standard leagues, and they saw that it was like 60-70% of the meta was some variation of Saheeli combo, and at that point they're like, all right, look, clearly no one's even figured out like, wow, this card's good against Saheeli. People just gave up and said, I'm playing Saheeli because there's nothing I can do to stop it.
Yeah.
And that was what did it in.
And it seems a little unreasonable to decide it that fast, but at the same time, the full set has been spoiled for about 2 weeks at that point. So even if you can't actually play it, you have to know that someone's been brewing off MTGO and trying to find a solution to this, and they can't find anything that's good. Like, Manglehorn stops the combo, but that doesn't mean anything when it just buys you a turn. Like, the deck is also just such pure value. There's no way to really stop it. Like, they just grind you into dust because of the... Felidar Guardian was such a busted card no matter what.
Like, even if you weren't going off the combo, it's still value.
For, like, why the emergency ban?
Yeah, it's because they definitely saw at least some data from... They saw Reddit meltdown, but they also saw legitimately people be like, well... Amonkhet doesn't look that good at stopping this combo. Why are we going to buy Amonkhet? Why do we care?
Yeah, like there were literally no cards in the set you want to play.
We need to sell Amonkhet right now. We have to ban this to save it.
Because all the combo cards and all the decks were from the last set.
And it's crazy.
That's interesting.
Because if you think about it, Felidar Guardian came out in Aether Revolt. This is not an old card.
No, it's been legal for what, like 3 months now?
3 months! And already, like, that seems like a problem where you're not, like, people were talking about banning Gideon. He's so far past where he should have been banned. It doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
But, like, there has to be some middle ground where it's like, how do we miss things that we have to ban in our next ban cycle? That means you screwed up. Like,
yeah, that means someone didn't playtest correctly.
You know what's crazy?
Well,
Tyler?
I mean, they came out of the gate saying that they didn't notice that the combo existed when they released the card.
So, really quickly, for anyone who doesn't know Magic, in the set Kaladesh, they came out with a planeswalker named Saheeli Rai. I should have sold my Saheelis before this announcement. Oh, I have two of them.
Are they like back below $5 again?
I'm sure it tanked immediately. They came out with this planeswalker, and her ability that she could do immediately was to make a copy of a creature or an artifact, and except if it wasn't an artifact, it was now an artifact, and it gained haste. Then in Aether Revolt, they print the card Felidar Guardian, which when it enters the battlefield allows you to blink not a non-land permanent or not a creature permanent, but any permanent, which is crazy. And all you have to do is play that, blink Saheeli. She comes onto the battlefield. She's a new target with 3 loyalty. You can -2 her, make a copy of the Felidar Guardian, and just do it again. And just loop them forever until you have infinite 1/4s with haste that are artifact creatures, and then you just swing and attack and win the game.
For anyone else who's well versed in Magic, this is like almost a copy of the Splinter Twin combo.
Yeah, this is Splinter Twin in Standard.
And Splinter Twin got banned in Modern because it was just a consistent combo.
It was too consistent for Modern, which is funny because now, honestly, Modern's so fast, it's like, would Splinter Twin even matter?
Basically.
So, I got a question, though.
Yes.
So, since this emergency ban,
yep,
right? Like, would you say has the reaction from players like yourselves and like people who play like more competitively, is it more positive or negative?
I mean, honestly, we're not really affected because like I said, we don't play
Standard.
We don't play.
Right, you don't play Standard.
We don't have
like,
a game store nearby where we can go because you guys went to the only one nearby and it was kind of a hellhole.
Never going again.
Never. That was still so funny to me.
Never.
But
that was my hell, Tim.
I know. I fully acknowledge.
You were sitting there looking at all like the dirty game controllers on the wall, and I could see you like getting visibly uncomfortable seeing the condition of the store.
God, it was bad.
But so it seems like from reading Reddit, which obviously is Reddit. I'm sure, but just even thinking about it myself, this is a good thing. They needed to do this because, like, Amonkhet has such cool cards, just none of them could beat this. And if you get rid of this, then now there's tons of brewing potential and so many different things you could do with Amonkhet, because now it matters again. Like, there are some cool cards, but it was like, did it beat that combo? No. Well, then why play it? Now now it's like the doors are opened.
That's one thing I kind of wish, like, I learned more, like, at least when I, like, because you don't learn much about, like, making card games or anything like that, like, when they teach you how to, like, make games or whatever, that you can't, like, test for all the variables. So after, like, especially a game like Magic the Gathering, I'm surprised they're able to, like, make cards. Like, I know it's supposed to balance with, like, bans and, you know, non-bans.
I mean, ideally with Magic is they try to avoid banning as much as they can. They have their whole concept of their internal testing group called the Future League that's designed to, you know, find if anything seems way too busted or way too strong and try to change as they go along.
And they admitted they completely missed the Saheeli Felidar combo.
But
at least they admitted it. At least they're like, yeah.
But the issue with that is, like, within 5 seconds of the spoiler coming out, people were already posting about it online. And in Wizards' defense, they have a lot less people than play the game of Magic. But
I mean, it wasn't even that hard to look at. I saw it printed, and I thought, oh, man, it's Restoration Angel, except I can flicker anyone, and it's you know, it doesn't have flying.
Not anything, because Restoration Angel is just a non-angel creature.
When I read it, I didn't realize it said non-land, or it didn't even say non-land permanent, it just says permanent.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, oh, man, which creature do I want to flicker? Because in the back of my head, I'm like, Wizards does not make, like, a flicker target permanent creature.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't something they've done up till now. Like, it's hard to find that wording.
Especially because usually the only thing you want to flicker is creatures. There's not a lot of other permanent types that have these enter the battlefield triggers that you care about anyway.
Yeah, like, you do a land that nets you 1 mana. You do, you know, an artifact, you get 1 activation. But and enchantments don't ever tap for anything, so...
They have,
the other permanents really didn't matter.
Well, like, at most they had, like, the Oath Cycle. Those haven't entered the battlefield trigger.
Yeah,
that's a fraction of what enchantments
or something like Oblivion Ring, where you can pick a new target. But this is the first time they have, like, flicker target Planeswalker, essentially.
Yeah, because it didn't... Yeah, especially now that Planeswalkers have skyrocketed in popularity in the last few years. Like, I mean, remember when there used to be, like, 1 or 2 in a set, and now it's like, hey, we have 5 or 6 a block?
Yeah, that was insane. Like, I remember going back and, like, looking through the cards from Theros block, because that was the block that I started on, and there were 5 Planeswalkers printed that year across 3 sets. Now you get 5 Planeswalkers every 2 sets.
We approximately will have 10 Planeswalker cards new printed this year.
And it feels weird, because, like, you used to get 10. You got 5 in the set, and then there was 5 in your core set. But core set ones were usually the same per year, or whenever they changed them, they honestly got a little shittier every year.
Yeah, well, there's a noticeable dip in Planeswalker quality raw across some of them.
You go into the core sets. But it's almost like we're getting Planeswalker fatigue. And you even look at, like, Mardu.
I am so done.
Like, you look at what Mardu vehicles has become, it's literally just Heart of Kirin and every Planeswalker you can jam in the Mardu shell.
Yep.
It's becoming,
hey,
like,
look, it's Gideon. Hey,
mythic,
look,
mythic
it's
deck.
Chandra. Do they even run anything? Probably Nahiri.
They're running like one of Sorin.
Yeah, one of Sorin. Maybe an Ob Nixilis in the sideboard. Anyway, but we're still not done talking about Magic, but we'll try to...
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the band that we're actually here to talk about.
We haven't even gotten to the actually kind of crazier news. So, a little while ago, Wizards basically said, okay, we recognize that people really like Commander, and we in no way support Commander officially on Magic Online. So we're going to start having a one-on-one Commander leagues, because online, most people play one-on-one Commander. Apparently, that's what their data shows.
It has a lot to do with the fact that multiplayer Magic in MTGO is really bad.
Also, a lot of it comes down to you want to talk to people in like there's so much more politicking. You almost need that interaction of more people. Like, I've played on Cockatrice a few times, 4-player Commander or 3-player, and it's like, this is not nearly as fun because I don't really care about these people, and we're not interacting or politicking at all.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But then, Wizards is like, well, we, today, as of our recording on the 3rd of May, 2017, Wizards is like, hey guys, we are going to start instituting these leagues in a week, and we are going to have our own ban list that not only covers 1v1 Commander, but also covers multiplayer Commander on MTGO, because we are not differentiating between the formats right now.
That's the part where I just get really mad at Wizards, because they killed. Part of my favorite part about the original Commander ban list was they had
Banned as a commander.
Banned as a commander. It was commanders who, if you had access to them every chance you could, they were too consistent. You would always win. Like stuff like
Braids.
Yeah, Braids.
Yep, Braids is the classic.
But as one of the 99 that's not your commander, you see it occasionally, and you don't always see it right when you need it. Like when it's in your command zone, you cast it exactly when you want it. You draw into Braids, you don't know when that's going to happen. But it's still fun to play against. Still fun to have like a cool combo based on a creature who just so happens to be legendary.
Yeah, the real problem is just the fact that you can send them to the command zone also if they die. So it's also not just that the combos are so strong, but they're so resilient because it's like a one-card combo in the command zone. So that was...
I know Wizards asked that because they had trouble coding that in MTGO to like ban a card in a format, but not all the time.
They keep saying that's not true, but I'm pretty
we all know
sure
it's true. MTGO is a piece of shit software.
So currently the paper commander ban list is not super duper long. It's what, like maybe 20 or 30 cards?
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's a
mostly
lot of,
a lot of the
bands
super broken old stuff, and when they got rid of the banned as a commander list, they rebanned a lot of that stuff as just general bans.
Yeah.
But that list isn't super huge. And then there's dual commander, or French commander, which is the 1v1 format that existed before Magic Online is now making it kind of official.
There's
and
a couple different ones depending.
Like
there's the French ban list, there's the Italian ban list, and none of them can always decide on like what legitimately is too strong in 1v1. They flip flop a lot.
I go off of what on Reddit it says the dual commander ban list update, because that's
I think
usually
most of them work off of French EDH.
Yeah, French. But then Wizards comes out with their own list today, and this list is massive and has some really big changes. I'm looking at the list again. I actually want to go on the Reddit because a bunch of people pointed out what the differences are between this and the official. So
yeah, I saw it get posted, and all I'm sitting here is going, "Oh man, is Soul Ring on this list? This is
and
gonna
it
be
is,
big."
which is great.
That was
I am so glad to see that because I hate Soul Ring. I think it's a bad card in Commander, and I intentionally put it in none of my decks. Not a bad card, but it's a card that can so easily and so quickly disrupt fun.
It's a little too much advantage. I'm perfectly fine with it in multiplayer, but in 1v1, it's just a little bit too good.
Well, I even don't like it in multiplayer because then you're just painting a huge target on yourself, not always for huge game, but it's like that guy has 2 mana. That's insane. Like, even Mana Crypt at least has the potential to zap you for 3 life.
Yeah, but you gotta, manage... I kind of manage your targets. Like, I'll have games where, I have Soul Ring in hand, and I know for a fact that if I, Soul Ring into my commander on turn 3, everyone's gonna try and kill me. So there are games where I'll actually intentionally hold back and see if, someone else
But then late game it does nothing, because there's better mana rocks in Commander.
There are, so it's honestly iffy. If I'm in a 2-color deck, usually I run it 3-color. I've actually started cutting them just because I like color consistency.
I genuinely don't run them in anything because I'd rather play more fair 2-drop rocks in 1 and 2 color decks.
Yeah.
Or just other forms of ramp or card draw or something, because I just don't like the fact that one of the power 9 is in Commander.
Basically.
But looking at the list, there are about 30 more cards, 25, 30 more cards banned online in comparison to paper. But then there's also 10 cards that are unbanned, and some of these are nuts.
Oh, I saw the first one I saw on here, Coalition Victory, because I love brewing 5-color.
That card should be unbanned in paper.
It honestly should. It's if you get to the point where you're casting it and no one has a counterspell, congrats, you played yourself.
You played yourself.
You played yourself.
But Panoptic Mirror with a spell that gives you an extra turn, that's just a win condition in 1 card. Prime Time. Prime Time is banned for a reason. Prophet of Kruphix is a busted card. Sundering Titan, Sylvan Primordial, Upheaval, Worldfire.
Sylvan Primordial, jeez.
I
I pulled a foil of that the day it got banned in Commander.
Recurring Nightmare's good, but I don't know if it needs to be banned that bad. Leo is funnily unbanned.
Recurring Nightmare does need to be banned. My cousin has, like, back when Wizards used to print the gold bordered version of like Pro Tour Windex, he played the Recurring Nightmare deck against me, and I was playing like some modern. I think I was playing like Tron or something. Didn't kick my ass. It's just you get too much value out of this recurring combo that you always have access to.
But then there's a lot of things that are banned, which are nuts, like Gaia's Cradle, Crypt, Vault, Mishra's, like all the fast mana in combo. Doomsday, Entomb. Entomb is banned.
Dude, Serra Ascendant is banned.
That is a great call.
Actually, you're right.
The
problem is I'm still thinking about this from the multiplayer perspective. Like, I understand 100% why these are banned in 1v1.
Yes.
I'm just salty that they are also banned in multiplayer.
Yeah, there's a big problem here where a lot of these cards didn't need to be banned because in multiplayer they mean nothing. But in in one-on-one, almost all
the board
these are
hates you out. Like,
almost all of these are busted in one-on-one, but the problem is that the real problem is that MTGO didn't differentiate between the two, and that just snaps it. Like, there's so many cards here that aren't a problem in multiplayer because someone's going to have an answer, or there's just so much time built in with all these extra turns going on.
How much extra life people have.
Yeah, like in one-on-one there's 30 life. In multiplayer there's 40. Half these cards are function
Unless you
differently.
play with
almost.
Val, she has 120.
Yeah, well, that's because Olaro is a stupid card who's just annoying.
Our dynamic is great. I think, do we talk about, I know Leslie and I talk about it. Like, every time we play, it's always like, you and Friedman go off. I'm just a potato. And then no one hits Val. Like, me and Leslie are just like, whatever. And then Val just, like, sits there and wins the game because no one attacks her.
So that problem needs to be addressed. I think, okay, you and Leslie are at a handicap because you guys don't, me and Friedman,
well, we know every card by heart. We know what's coming up.
We know every single card in one of our decks, and we probably know what card. If you tell us the name of a card, we probably know what it does better than you guys do because you guys just don't play as much. But then there's Val, who's like, I'm just Olaro gaining life, and I have Felidar Guardian as my win condition or test of endurance. Like, oh, that's interactive, I guess.
Oh, and the best, though, is when Luigi shows up, though.
And everyone blows him out of the water.
And everyone's like, get this fucking kid out of here so we can, like, not win. And then Val wins anyway.
No, but
just to put this into context, they printed Luigi as a card. His name was Leovold.
Leovold, Emissary of No Fun.
Yeah, that's Luigi.
But before that, he was Marin of Clan No Fun. Because... Remember I made him his personal deck, and then he's like, I don't need blue in here, I just need Marin, and it was still broken. Anyway, we're done with Magic.
We're done with Magic.
We spent like 20 minutes on this, but
Thank God. I didn't have anything to contribute to that conversation.
That's okay. We're probably not going to... This was really... I mean, we're probably going to talk about Magic almost every single episode, at least for a little, but
we got a lot of the big topics out of the way here.
This was, like, just happened to be the week and a half of craziness.
And that last one was like 2 hours ago that we found out about this.
Yeah, 2 hours ago we found out about one of the biggest changes to a format.
See,
anyway.
kids, this is why you don't do drugs.
Yeah, play Magic instead.
Cough, cough, Magic. It's a drug. It's like up there
the
with,
meme is
with heroin.
It's get your kids into Magic so they don't have money for drugs. So.
Oh my God.
All right, so back to the much more minor stuff. We have a very cool announcement that came out yesterday. THQ Nordic, as funny as that name is, announced Darksiders 3. Yeah, what are we, back in like 2005? Like, Darksiders is coming out, baby. Darksiders 3. Sadly, still not the sequel to 1, taking place during the events of 2, with Fury hunting down whatever.
The 7 Deadly Sins.
Okay, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
That's how little I care. But she has a light whip, which is really freaking cool, even though it's not officially
cool.
a light whip.
She's got that going for her.
Definitely not going to be like Kratos, though. Still not like Kratos, guys.
Hell
Don't worry.
No one can be like Kratos. Hell no.
But,
my bias.
I'm pretty hyped for this. I liked 1 a lot, and 2 is kind of disappointing, and I'm really hoping they ditch... We were talking about this yesterday, Tyler, but I really hope they ditch all that loot crap, because that really kills the vibe.
Yeah, I feel like that wasn't the spirit of the game. Like, at all.
I haven't played any of the series yet, but was it kind of like Diablo, where the whole game is just like chasing loot.
So
Or-
here's the
Two.
thing. The first game was just like a more mature Zelda with like giant. It's like if you crossed like Warhammer, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, obviously, and Zelda together, you'd kind of make this weird like. Everyone has fat giant armor and giant guns, and it's like you're battling demons and angels and stuff.
It's
You hate everybody.
Gears of War. No.
It's Gears of War. It's Gears of War. But then 2 was you're not playing because in the first game you played as the Horseman of War, who's like, and the game ends with you basically summoning the other 3 horsemen to start the apocalypse.
We're gonna fuck shit up.
Like, it's great. The game starts and you've basically been tricked into thinking the apocalypse started somehow. I don't really
And
know.
Mark Hamill tortures you.
Yeah, Mark Hamill messes with you. He's like,
I'm like picturing
he's
actual
Satan.
Mark Hamill torturing you.
I mean, he like he does like his Joker voice, right? Or something
Kinda,
like
yeah.
that.
But
Yeah, he breaks that out.
and then at the very end of the game, War is like, yo, let's get this party really started. And he summons the other 3 horsemen, and you see the other 3 horsemen, like, in the beginning of the game, War falls to Earth as this red comet. And then at the end of the game, you see 3 other color, like a purple, red, not red, pinkish purple, and green. I can't remember that well. But they all War breaks this relic thing, and then they start falling, and the game ends. And you're like, oh my god, Darksiders 2 is going to be 4-player
Right.
co-op as the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. It's going to be amazing. And then they announce 2, and you're playing as Death, because 1 starts, and 10 minutes in, after you play the tutorial level, basically, without really knowing, like 1,000 years pass, and 2 takes place in that time window.
Yeah.
And you're Death riding around doing all this crazy stuff, but they added in this Diablo thing where you find
That loot
loot.
system.
And it's like, shouldn't the Horseman of the Apocalypse Death, who has had his gear for millennia, not be like, the example I kept using was like, hey, look at that pretty set of pants. And then right over there's another set of pants. And then there's another set of pants. It zapped away from the mood of the game so much. It's like Death should not be min-maxing what he's wearing for combat effectiveness. He's Death.
Yeah, it kind of ruins the flow of the game too, right? Because like other games that are built for that, like Diablo or The Division, right? Like the game was meant to like min-max so you can take on enemies and such. But
You're
it's
a
like,
hero.
Yeah, Darksiders, it's all about the flow of the game and like the puzzles and like the combat. Like no one wants to sit there.
But also,
and
you're
finagle with
a
their
Horseman
stuff.
of the Apocalypse.
Yeah, it ruins the aesthetic as well.
Yeah.
But like I was talking about, like also for gameplay purposes.
Yeah,
and,
no,
like,
that
gameplay
too.
Flow,
Absolutely.
It ruins it. It just like I said before, it, like rips the soul from the game.
Yeah. And they have a lot of the same people coming back because they rehired a lot of the people who worked on the first 2. And I genuinely think how over the past few years we've gotten like the definitive edition of 1, the definitive edition of 2, the definitive edition, sorry.
Definitive.
And I think those were genuinely to build interest and stockpile some money to help get this game out the door. Because I feel like if this game sells well enough, then they might do a 4. Maybe we have to wait till 5. Because at this
For
point,
all of them to
why
come
would you even
together,
make a
yeah.
game where you play as all 4 if you're not going to give, what is it, Strife, I think is the last one?
You have to give all of the horsemen like their own thing.
If you're going to give
You
3
have
of them their own game, you kind of have to do Strife then. So what, are we going to be like in 2024 when we finally get Darksiders 5, which is the first sequel to 1? Like,
yeah.
Coming
that's
soon to
fine.
PlayStation 5. Darksiders 4.
PlayStation 5, dude.
all
I
right.
mean, who knows?
Probably come out before Kingdom Hearts 3.
Don't talk to me about that. Why'd you have to say that? Why? Why you have to say it?
No, dude, I feel your fan. I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Tetsuya, man, I don't know what he's doing. He's gonna kill himself because he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna work on Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts." You're like, "No, dude, you're gonna die. Don't do it, man. Don't do." I'm pretty sure he's dead now.
Yo, I know next episode is the Throwdown, but I'm pretty sure you both liked Final Fantasy 15.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, it was a good game.
It was Entourage the game, man.
It's Entourage.
It's just like
It's
Entourage.
It's just like Entourage. But like, I illustrate that to everyone. Just like Entourage is literally about 4 dudes rolling around in like.
So I hadn't
black
actually
car.
seen a shot of like the car, but I saw a screenshot the last few days for some reason, and it was just the main character like standing up in a convertible watching this like skyscraper-sized monster slide along next to the road. I'm like,
Yeah,
that
man,
is
that's Final Fantasy 15, dude.
hysterical.
It's Final
That was
Fantasy
so
15.
Like
funny
Road
looking.
Trip, the video game. It's great.
All right,
It's
so
fucking
now
great.
we're gonna end the news block because Andrew here is our resident weeb who knows
Yeah.
all the anime, and he has actually a
know
few
all the
things written
anime.
down that he wanted to just kind of. We'll just kind of let you go with this one because
Yeah, I get to finally shoehorn in my own anime talk show. So let's get through the headlines this last week.
if we had like production value or anything, we could have like a little flash animation or something that we play
God.
or a sound effect
There's a
for the
part
start
where
of
one of
Weeb
the
time.
hype '90s anime song starts playing in the background as I jump in here.
God. It's always One Punch Man or
It's
like.
always the One Punch Man thing.
All right. Anyway, go ahead.
So for the Weeb headlines, I know I'm a big fan of it, and so is the anime subreddit, but the show Shirobako, which gives some insight into how these anime studios actually create these shows from start to finish. The production committee tweeted they have an announcement later this week. A lot of people are pretty hyped 'cause it might be season 2, but we've gotten burned in the past with them just announcing like the Japanese equivalent of slot machines through here. Like there was an announcement last year saying, Gurren Lagann, new announcement this week, and then it was a slot machine. So might be
Those
something,
things
might
are
not
really
be.
big out there, though. It's weird.
It's
Pachin-
just
I think- oh, you
gambling
mean
is illegal. Yeah, it's pachinko, but gambling is illegal
Yeah.
in Japan. And the way pachinko works is you win like these marbles that you go to another store across the street that sells things for marbles. So it's their way of like you can gamble without
Getting
really
So I
around
didn't
the
realize for a
system.
super long time, my dad's parents actually have a pachinko machine that's like 40 years old, and it's just a lever where you
Damn.
flick metal balls up into this machine. And I always
That's
remember
amazing.
fiddling with it because they just open it up and you just redump the balls in the top. But it's so funny to look at.
Yeah, it can be fun, especially when you know there's money behind winning.
Well, or when you're a little, like 5-year-old Tim, just playing it on your grandparents' wall and just flicking it as fast as you can and like jamming balls in the machine and stuff like that.
Anyway,
It's all
so
about Japan, man.
yeah,
This
Play
is
pachinko.
that could be the name of this block, like frickin' Japan, man.
Japan.
Freaking Japan.
Jeez, we'll change the block title every time we do this. So moving on, Anime Strike, which is Amazon's new anime channel, has announced they are supporting downloads on mobile. So they're trying to compete with Netflix, who Netflix is kind of like second place in the anime streaming community right now because you have Crunchyroll and Netflix have partnered and they have like pretty much like every show that's coming out. But then
Wait,
you've got
really?
Amazon out there. Yeah, Crunchyroll and Netflix have like 90% of an anime on a given season between the two of them.
Oh, I thought you were saying they. I thought you were like meant they have partnered together.
No, Crunchyroll and Funimation have partnered together.
Oh, for Funimation. Okay, I think
They
you said-
did.
Yeah, so
that
Crunchyroll
was a
has
I
pretty-
knew
all these
that. I
shows
thought you
out
said
for
Netflix
subtitles.
And Crunchyroll.
And Funimation start putting out dubs faster. So you're seeing those on Adult Swim pretty rapidly. But you've got Netflix buys up their own exclusive shows. Like they had the show, like the show that's the studio that did Kill la Kill and formerly Gurren Lagann is doing it, Little Witch Academia. But then you've got Amazon has recently kind of dabbled in
yeah.
acquiring shows, and this is a kind of a controversial decision in the anime community. But they took all anime content out of Anime Prime streaming, which you are already paying for if you're a Prime subscriber. You're already paying what is like $12 a month to have Amazon Prime Video. And you now have to pay another $5 a month just to get the anime channel. They're double dipping,
Are
and
they
this is like
double dipping?
the annoying part
Get
is
the
Anime
hell
Strike,
outta
which is
here.
their anime
That's
channel, is like their
terrible.
first one. They don't have another one. This is it. So I was pissed when I heard about
Oh
this. I'm like,
my
I'm not paying
gosh.
another $5 just to watch anime on Amazon.
No one should. I don't
Wow.
understand why.
That's
Like
messed up.
I don't understand.
It's 'cause they
why
can.
companies do that though. It's because they can't. But like, so it
No.
is it better? Well, like I don't know. Have you?
I used to
seen,
watch the
like,
Amazon
features
exclusive ones.
any
Like they had this
better
one
than-
show, Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress, which it was by the same studio as Attack on Titan.
Hell
My friends and I
yeah,
just called it
dude.
Steampunk Zombie as the show because that's what it was. And I'm not gonna lie, I liked it. The second half has its weaknesses, but it was a pretty good show.
Basically.
And watching Amazon Video wasn't terrible. Like their subtitles are a little shitty, but they're starting to fix it up. But like, if I wasn't paying for Prime for other reasons, I probably wouldn't be buying Prime Video just for anime. So there's no way in hell I'm paying another $5 a month just to watch like whatever show they get.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So you pay
Yeah.
for Prime $100 a year, and now you're saying you have to pay $5 on top of that for this anime channel. Okay, and if you don't have Prime, it was $12, and now you're paying $17 for the anime.
Just for context, Crunchyroll and
Okay.
Funimation are both
Just making
$5
sure.
a month, and they both have a way larger catalog than Amazon does.
You mean Crunchyroll and Netflix?
No, but yes, they all charge
Funimation.
$5 a month ish.
Oh.
Funimation
Wait,
has their own.
also
They're
has
starting
their
to
own
phase it
thing?
out because they're now partnering with this other company, VRV, who they also have CISO for anyone who watches Harmon Quest, but they're all part of this partnership now where it's basically like $5 a month to get everything. So point is, prices are coming down. Everyone's partnering together, and Amazon says, "Nah, I want to splinter off and charge $17 a month for you to watch like these 2 shows that I have exclusive."
That's pretty dumb.
So, but point is,
Welcome
they
to
have
torrent
saying.
world.
point is they're
Yeah, like, that
introducing
doesn't
mobile
make
downloads. This is
sense.
their argument, like, "Oh, hey, pay us the $5," but I'm not buying it. Yeah.
It's not worth it.
And
I
then
wouldn't say it's worth it.
I mean, honestly,
Unless
I don't
you
think
travel a lot, then like I don't really see much justification in the
Yeah, it's like the
downloading.
thing that you use once or twice when you're taking a plane trip.
I mean, the thing is, we're
one
seeing
time
more
a
and more
year you
that
do
the airplanes have Wi-Fi on them
Like-
now. I took Amtrak down to DC. There's Wi-Fi on the trains. Like, it's
Yeah, but the problem is those usually cost
yeah, but
money.
like if I take one trip a year,
And they're
I'm
usually
paying
not
less
exactly
for that
great.
than I am paying for Amazon's shitty anime service.
Well, or you could just like find some YouTube
Yeah.
videos and just download those for free before you leave.
Anyway, so the last point.
Anyway,
The
last one.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure live action trailer, the full version came out this week. We had just seen the spoiler, and this is also
no.
not its final form yet. So, for anyone who watches JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the powers called stands manifest as these like, it's like, just like these anime characters come behind you. They're muscular, they punch shit. It's crazy cool. But the trailer did not have any of the stands in it yet. It just showed off all the main characters and some of like the settings. But the thing is, all the main characters, they look legit. They look just like they do in the anime and the manga. Everyone sounds pretty good for the character. Like overall, I'm
Really?
pretty hyped for this. And for the most part, Japanese live action adaptations like always have this like extra air of corniness to them where you can't really take it seriously. But
I mean, Ghost in the Shell didn't
yeah, but
exactly
Ghost in the Shell
kill
was
it
like it was a
recently.
Western movie. It wasn't like if you ever watch like the live action version of Attack on Titan or Death Note, like they have this like campiness to them. But the thing that either makes or breaks these movies is always the CG, and Japan is not particularly known for quality CG. So
I do.
I feel like
have
with
to say-
JoJo, you need
the thing is, they
stands
have to be
look
CG.
good.
Like you put a dude in a suit and make him
Yeah.
purple, he's gonna look weird. But
No, I know they do, but I'm saying that
yeah, it's
there
gonna
you
it's gonna be
go.
make or
It has
break.
to look good.
Like
or
I've
the
gone
whole
back and
thing
watched the
falls
Death
apart.
Note movies, and seeing how shitty they did Ryukin CG like makes the movie unwatchable. So if they pull off these stands
God.
right, it might actually be a decent adaptation.
Well, we're gonna see how Netflix does
Willem Dafoe.
when they put Willem Dafoe in
Yeah.
that Ryuk suit.
Oh my god.
Yo, they don't even need a suit for him.
He
though.
honestly
Willem Dafoe
does.
looks like Ryuk. Willem Dafoe is Ryuk. Look at him. Just look at his face. Like, if you just repaint the Green Goblin mask, it's
Oh
Ryuk.
my god.
Just look at it. Yeah, see, because you see it now. But I have to say something though. In Ghost in the Shell's defense, the new live action one, even though I wasn't a fan like all the way, I actually felt the same way about this one as I did with the original. Was it 1995?
We were discussing this on the way out of the
1996
escape room last week.
like the first movie. Yeah. Like I felt the same way about it, and it's almost like everything else about it was really good, right? Like the atmosphere is really good. I even thought the CG was pretty good, and they also gave a lot of nods to literally all of the iterations, like all of them, even the shitty Ghost in the Shell Arise that
Oh, yeah.
Netflix did, like yeah, oh god, that was abysmal. That was so abysmal. Like they combined like the stories from like the first movie and like standalone complex. I was like, holy cow. Cause the bad guy, it's like the similar concept from the first movie that they did, but they took the bad guy from standalone complex and then made him the big bad in this movie. I was like, yo, I kinda like this, and they put her in literally all of her outfits. All of them. It was pretty good. Like, yeah, and they had all their characters. All the casting was really good. The only thing that I didn't like was, I guess, was Scarlett Johansson. It's not even her acting was terrible. It's
Was
just
it
like
just how
how
she
they
fit
wrote
the
her
role?
character. Yeah, like she played. I was more of a fan of like the energetic Major from like standalone complex. It seemed like she had more of like a dynamic character. it seemed like she grew as a person. But like the original Major, she was very flat.
Is that
She
kind
was
of what
like
they
kind
went
of
with for this one?
depressing. Like it seemed like, yeah, that's exactly what they went with. And then like I knew that was intentional because I watched the original one.
But
I
that
was
doesn't
like,
mean
okay,
you love it.
yeah, exactly. But and also, the other thing, do you guys plan
No.
on watching this movie?
Spoiler
not
alert.
at all.
No. All right. So anyone, yeah, I'll say spoiler alert for anyone who wants to watch the new live action movie. So, I might have said this in passing already, but remember a couple weeks back I mentioned we were all talking about like full cyber augmentations and like, well, and like upset because like,
Oh,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
that.
whitewashing. Scarlett
yeah.
Johansson, and so I'm like, but man, it's the future. What if they decided to just turn this Japanese girl into this American-looking white woman?
And then they did.
And then Tim, I remember you saying you were like, absolutely not, Tyler. That's a little bit too far-fetched for that.
Well, look
Which
who
you're
got proven
right.
wrong.
You were right, and
I wish I wasn't wrong, but I was wrong.
because I knew it because she goes back to her house and she's talking to this lady, and I'm like, no, please don't let this be her mom. Don't let this be her, because like the whole movie they keep mentioning her name, like her name is Motoko,
Oh yeah.
right? And they keep calling her something else. And I'm like, this isn't her fucking name. This isn't her name. And I'm like, my weeb sense
weeb
is starting
senses
to
are
get fucking
tingling.
triggered the whole
We've
time.
since.
My weeb sense. I'm like, this isn't. I'm like, which was weird, right? It was a weird red flag for me because they nailed everything else except for this. Like, there has to be a reason. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, they literally used the full prosthetic body just to put Scarlett Johansson in it. I
Okay.
was like, this is kind of a lame plot device. I wasn't a fan of it. People can argue with me on that, but like I felt like it was cheesy. I felt like it was a cheesy way, even though they had the Japanese dude who played Aramaki. He's like in all of like the Japanese live action stuff. Like he was in Battle Royale like years ago.
Oh wow.
He's in a couple of other like pretty notable stuff like coming out of Japan. But like no one in America knows, like, oh, no one in America knows who he is, so we're not gonna give him any sort of thing. But like, even though he had some cool parts in it, but it's like we have to make Kusanagi like the well-known white girl from America. I don't know. It felt kind of weird.
All right. Well, that's we're gonna
Yeah,
call
that's
there
it
on
for the weeb
news.
shit for
We've covered
today.
Enough.
News.
That's the official
The
title.
weeb
shit.
The weeb shit.
We
The weeb shit.
definitely didn't say that when I wrote it in the show notes or anything like that. So we're gonna if for you guys it won't be a break, but we're gonna take a pause for a second here, kind of stretch for a second, and then we're gonna come back with our actual discussion topic for the week because we don't want to just chat about news. We're gonna actually have something to talk about, like intelligent people.
Intelligent.
Intelligent people. Okay.
So I'm gonna edit out the break, but we're gonna stop for a sec and come back with our discussion topic. All right. Well, here we are already. Now it's so the way we decided when we were talking about how we wanted this podcast to work was that it was just going to basically break into two main pieces. We were going to talk about the news stories that we cared about in the last week, and then we were going to talk about some main topic to kind of not bring it all together, but to give something more interesting than just what's happening current. I noticed a lot of older shows, a lot of podcasts and stuff, even shows and everything, don't really have something that stays relevant for very long. And it's nice to kind of have something to keep older things relevant and give everything some real substance. So for our first topic, and the whole reason I wanted to start a podcast was I wanted to do a video series on this, but I figured it was actually something more freeform that I wanted to do and talk about. And then lo and behold, we have the TNT podcast.
Yeah.
And what I wanted us to talk about is kind of break down what is Magic. Now, that obviously that's a very, and we're not talking about Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, the first time you pushed on, I'm like, oh man, we're talking about what Magic the Gathering is. It's the whole episode.
What is Magic the Gathering? Exactly.
There's so much to this because obviously Magic, I mean, obviously some people even believe that magic is real. There's almost everything that is fiction has something to do with magic or something that can be ascribed to magic. So we basically came up with just a bunch of bullet points. I don't know how many of these we're going to hit. It's just to kind of guide discussion. It's kind of just an open questions that we just ask to kind of figure out how we want to define things. And so for the first kind of sub-theme here, it's like, what is the definition of magic?
I found this one pretty interesting. So I was thinking about this earlier today, and I'm like, oh, that's easy. Magic is something you can't explain. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, that's the definition. It's something you can't explain.
Are you serious?
No, like, that was, like,
lame.
When you say something...
No, I'm not.
Like, you
it's
use the
not
phrase,
lame.
I'm kidding. No, I was
That's
kidding.
totally not what I was
Like,
saying.
you use the phrase something is magic. Generally, like, in terms of actual terminology, you say, like, oh, man, they were filming that movie, like, it was pure magic. That's not really the word you want to describe.
No,
magic
yeah,
is this,
we're
like,
not...
undescribable... No, I know we're not arguing
Yeah,
that, but
yeah,
I'm saying
no,
that
I get what you mean.
magic at its core is, like, it was something that you couldn't explain, but at the same time, like, you were almost mesmerized.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of bleeds into, like, actual magic and fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for our discussion, because magic as like a kind of as an adjective is not really what we're going for. We're kind of going for, if not a specific thing, kind of at least the idea of a thing, I guess.
Oh no, I understand that. I'm just trying.
No,
to
I know. I'm
bridge the
realizing that I
conversation.
should clarify for our audience.
Oh, okay.
Which is
to kind of make it more,
yeah,
kind of tighten the topic a little bit as much as it's not.
right.
What were you gonna say, Tyler?
Oh no, just like, now I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, like magic could be anything, just like anything else could be in the eye of the beholder. Like Freeman said, something unexplainable. Well, actually, it kind of tunes into like everything else. Magic is kind of things that humans or the world can do that, well, in some circumstances can't be explained, and in some worlds they can be explained. But it's mostly in the realms of, like, you wouldn't normally see this coming. You wouldn't normally see a human shooting fireballs from their hands, or, like, the earth just changing immediately from fall to winter at the drop of a hat. You know what I mean?
So
There's a mysticism to it.
even sitting here, I'm trying to crush what I'm thinking down into words, because when it's like, it's the kind of thing where you have this grand idea, but it's so hard to, like, what is the definition, like, in a dictionary?
Like, it's kind of abstract.
So,
it's hard to just
it's
put
so
into
abstract.
solid words.
I think the closest I'm coming up with right now is I don't even know if I want to say physical, but some kind of, I guess, tangible result produced by a direct application of will.
It's this ability to do something that almost seems disconnected with what you did to cause it happen. Like, take like the levitation spell from Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
What someone did is they flicked their wrist, and what happened was something started flying. And there's this huge disconnect between what you saw someone actually do and what actually happened. And I think that's part of it, that aspect of materializing something outside of just like a physical action.
But I think in every single fiction that is produced by will.
But that's the thing. You don't see a lot of stories actually go into death. Like, Harry Potter never really went into death. It's like, either you have magic or you're not, which is a lot of the rules for a lot of these stories. But that's one thing they never really broke down the mechanics for. They're just like, oh yeah, you just swish and flick. Swish and flick. Wingardium Leviosa. And then they just did it. Right? But it's
But the thing is, there's clearly something else behind it.
Yes.
And it's not something that you, the viewer, can, like, you can't really see it happening, but this person wanted this to happen. Like you said, it's an application of your will. And that's what's, like, interesting about it.
That's why I think books are actually such a good medium, because, like, I just today finished reading the 5th Witcher novel, and it's so cool in books because you can dive into the mind of the person. Like, it's not a fault of actors that you can't literally see the text scrawl of things in their head without narration. But like when you're in a book, it's so much easier to kind of sink yourself into the skin of the person who's doing it and kind of try to feel out what they're doing.
Right.
But it's just so hard to define. But I feel like will has to be a part of it because I feel like if we look at even in wizarding school, like taking that Harry Potter example, swish and flick, there are some students who perfectly produce the motion, but their spell still functions differently or at a different power level than someone else who's doing the same motion just as well as them. So that has to mean there's some other factor at play there, and I feel like that has to be will.
Right. Or like something that channels, like you said, Will, like that channels this inner, I'm going to go full weeb here, but ki or like chi or whatever. Like they bring that out through like their focus, that is like in that situation their wand, right? Or like
but then
their ring.
So here's this isn't even on our list. Well, actually this kind of goes into our next topic. How do you use it? Which I guess we can also split off into, is magic better when you can just use it, or is it better when someone has to have a focus?
So there's a couple different points. The first one I want to bring up, and that there's a good distinction between this in a lot of different series, is magic something you learn or is it something you're born with? Because a lot of series will have that anyone can do magic. It's just something that exists, and you have to learn how to.
I actually think that's
it.
more rare. Like Tyler was saying before, most series are like,
oh, you're born into it.
You're born into it. A lot of them. Some of them you're like, yeah, I can force myself to learn things, but there's usually like, Tyler, I know you'll get this. We've both read the entire Dresden Files series, and in that series, they're like, yeah, almost everyone can learn some really minor magic.
Yeah.
But
or at least use like some magical items.
You have to be like in the top 0.5% to have anything more than like a passive or super uncontrollable, not really much of anything powers.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's actually kind of rare. Like in most things, it's like Harry Potter, where you're born a muggle, you can't do anything. If you're born a wizard, boom, you can do magic, and you can be as powerful as like Harry Potter or Voldemort. Yeah. And I know that there's levels in there, but in Dresden, the jump is a lot more subtle. Like there's a gray zone at the bottom between no magic and some magic, and then there's a huge gap to top tier magic. But in Harry Potter, you can't do magic, or you can do magic, and then there's gradients of magic users, but there's no connecting bridge between magic and non-magic.
Yeah, either you got it or you don't, pretty much.
So you see some of this a little bit more, and I'm going to pull out the anime card for this one, but there's a lot of series where it's learned. Like, have you ever watched Full Metal Alchemist?
Yeah, buddy.
I love that
the main
example.
characters, their dad is a good alchemist, but they did what they did because they taught themselves how to do it.
Yep.
And there's alchemy schools, and theoretically, anyone who understands that world's version of magic can perform magic.
Yeah.
And the same with another lesser known show is called The Irregular at Magic High School, and that kind of bled the line between magic as technology, and it was you had a natural affinity with magic, but it wasn't based on like your lineage. Like there were two siblings who were both vastly different, and neither of their parents even cared about magic, but it was one of those something you could train yourself to be good at if you wanted it to.
Yeah.
Yo, what we were just saying earlier, magic is technology, man.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, before we even recorded, we were talking about how sufficiently advanced... Yeah.
Well, that kind of plays into our next topic, if we want to...
What is and what isn't magic?
Magic.
I mean, this I think of immediate... This is what led to my definition a lot. I don't think magic is something where... Oh, man, now I'm even doubting myself because...
It's a deep question. This is a deep question, audience.
This is a lot harder than I thought
audience,
it would be.
it's deep, man.
That's why I was like, this topic is secretly perfect for this.
It is, because it's so complex.
Because here's the thing. I was going to say it's where you don't need anything else to do magic. But then in almost every single thing where magic exists...
You need something.
You don't need something, but you can use something.
There's always like a tool to improve
There's
it.
always like the mystical item that is a focus, or like there's in almost everything with magic, there's some subsect of magic where it's not just conjuration, where there's rituals and crap.
Right.
Yeah.
Like even again going back to
time or-
Dresden. Dresden is like there's this guy who the first book is like this guy who doesn't really know magic, but he has these creepy rituals where they basically channel a bunch of orgy energy into killing someone.
Yeah.
Dumb
First
as that
book.
makes it sound.
Jeez.
First book is not fantastic.
But they're not
But it's
like
not the
magic, like they're not like, wizards or anything like that. They just
No.
like use rituals to do stuff.
So that's magic, but then where is the line? Like we were saying before, I still don't know who the famous quote was. I should probably look it up. Sufficiently advanced technology just seems like magic.
Yeah, like if you can't explain or even like perceive what's going on, it just seems like magic to you.
But that's not magic. But
I almost want
Like,
to
That's
where
the
is
thing.
that-
Like you
where
could
is
go
that
into a series.
technology line?
You can go into a series where someone's flying and you could say, "Oh man, look, it's magic," and then you go to the next series where someone explains how like the mini jetpack at the bottom of their boot is making them fly, and suddenly that's not magic, that's technology, and it's this kind of this grasp of understanding how and why it works that
That's
kind of
why-
bridges that
But
gap.
if
That's
we
why-
traveled back in time to the 1800s and showed them like a television, they're gonna be like, "That's fucking magic, burn it."
But here's the exact thing.
You showed me a 3DS back in 1998. I would have told you it's magic and told you to burn it.
Here's the thing, and here's where I got half of my initial definition from. Will. Going back in time and showing them a 2DS is no actual physical result of work you are doing.
True.
That is 100% correct. You're showing them something else that's
Something else
doing
that's
this.
doing
It's not
it.
something that you are doing.
So does it just always... That's why in my mind I can't get away from this idea of will being tied to magic, because...
Because it's not
It's just-
organic.
it's
Technology's not organic.
But then you have cases where, like,
Well, usually it's not organic.
things are built out of magic, and is that technology magic if
like
you base it
constructs
on
and
magic?
shit like that. Yeah.
Not even
Oh,
that,
yeah.
like, kind of.
Well, yeah, you got
cheating, but
constructs like they're made
well,
out
that-
of pure magic, pretty much.
that's magic. Those are just magic.
Yeah.
And that
if you have
'cause that's
anything
not-
that involves
'cause someone
energy
had
as
to-
a physical matter, that's kind of more in the realm of magic.
yeah,
Even though it is like a physical object.
like I'm even thinking of. I know I've watched like 3 episodes, but since Val started showing me Korra, seeing the shot, I still have the shot in my head of the guys lightning bending into the power plant.
Oh yeah,
That means all of their power is basically based on magic.
it was really weird to watch that because that scene kind of like bridged the gap between, like, I personally feel like bending is almost like magic, and seeing that scene kind of really bridge the gap of magic becoming technology, and it
Yeah.
wasn't a bad scene, but it was kind of thought provoking for me because I'm sitting here going, that is really cool. They
So,
managed to tie the two together.
But that actually feels like the line right there, because as soon as someone invents like the water wheel or the dam and then generates power that way, all of that society is not based on magic anymore.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're not using magic to
Not
do
having
X,
seen
Y.
Korra, I feel like that's what you could easily have made like a whole thing out of. Like someone invents the water wheel, and suddenly you don't need to power things with bending.
Actually, because I was thinking about this, I don't know why I'm not contributing more to this topic, because the world I'm building, right? Like I told you, I want like a meld of technology and magic.
Yep.
So I'm like, fucking flying cars. How would
Okay.
that work? And then I immediately thought, and this is how I go back to Final Fantasy 12, because that's how I was like, how do they have flying stuff if they just hit people with spears and like swords and stuff? It's like, oh yeah, no, they all have flight stones. They're all powered by magic. That's how they all have flying cars, but they still have like swords and spears and shit and like flintlock pistols. I was like,
Here's the question: where do
What?
those stones come from?
they come from, oh my god, now I forget like.
It sounded like
some
a
of
very
that
Star
lore.
Wars question.
Yeah, right. But like,
Let's not switch topics yet.
yeah, but like that, like they came from like, it was like a resource, right? Like,
Mhm.
like something more familiar, right, with like people, because more people played 7, right? Like the magic came
so
from.
you mine them.
Yeah.
So
They
but
combine
then,
them.
But then is that magic? Because that's just a physical
Now it's a
property
resource,
of a rock.
right? Exactly. But
that's not
resource.
magic then, because even though it's a magical thing,
No, because
I
it gets
don't see that as magic because you're not.
right.
You like that's just this rock floats.
This rock
That
floats,
doesn't
or
mean
this
anything.
rock like can shoot fire out of my sword, right?
Yeah.
It's just a resource at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trippy.
So I
I'm
feel like-
watching.
I
I'm
feel like
watching a show right now that's handling the distinction between magic and technology pretty well. The concept was that this guy gets reincarnated as a girl in World War One.
Yeah,
but
I've
this
heard
world
about this.
has some degree of magic to it. So all these countries are fighting World War One with soldiers on the ground, but they all have their own specialized like magic fighting unit, and it's wrecking soldiers in World War One, and it's weird seeing you've got these people flying around and firing off like the equivalent of laser beams, and you have people on the ground with their muskets. And this distinction between people who have magic and people who don't kind of draws that line between, how could you have someone with spears in a world of magic weapons?
It's so funny because it's almost like there's this line, but you can't be on like what is on that line?
What straddles the line?
Is the line? Oh my god, I can't even talk about that because that's a serious spoiler for Harry.
Yeah, because most of our audience. Well, yeah, you never know. You never know.
Well,
who could be.
Freeman wants to read Dresden.
Oh right.
I'm supposed to be reading the first book.
Dresden's so good.
I'm finally done with classes. I can start reading books again that aren't
congrats,
technical
round of
theory
applause
books on
Yeah.
machine
for
learning.
Andrew Freeman, who had his
Yeah.
master's thesis presentation the day before this, and is the reason we had to put off recording of this podcast.
Yeah, but he did it though.
But
Yeah.
now I'm done, and now we can start really recording.
Now we can start doing a podcast every week because you're not
Screw-
working your ass
Screw
off on
living
Hideout.
life. All right, then we're doing this podcast though.
Dude, guys, I
Talking
got my
about the
master's.
nerd
Now I
shit.
can go record a podcast every week.
Yo, I bet people like, oh, yo, I'm going to Root's Steakhouse. Yeah, no, we're like gonna go party down the shore. Yo, Freeman, what are you doing? I'm recording a podcast.
Someone asked me what magic is.
I'm trying to talk about have a serious discussion on magic though.
Guys, hour and a half, nerd stuff and Matt. Perfect. That's how I want to celebrate.
Exactly.
I just...
What were we talking about? We're talking about
Yeah,
straddling the line.
straddling the
Yeah,
line between
is-
magic and none. Like if
Because I feel like... So if you had... Even if you had a gun... Tyler, you might understand how this is kind of going back to Harry now. If you have a gun and it has no bullets in it, and you kind of just project some energy into the gun and use the gun as kind of a focus, that's still magic. That's not technology at all. Like, that's
No.
just another focus. But as soon as you then load a bullet in and fire that gun, it's not
it's
magic anymore.
technology.
Then it's technology. Yeah, this does tie into your sense of will. It has to be something that like you as a magic user does. If it does it on its own, it's not magic. It's automation. It's
Because I
technology.
feel like if it exists in nature, it's not. But then that I can't
Is
say
rain
that.
magic?
It's
I can't-
rain magic.
Well, because I'm thinking more along the lines of like mythical creatures, like in our D&D games, like a
Oh.
unicorn. That's a magical creature. It can do magic, so I can't say it's a nature thing. So,
But it's a magical creature because of what it can do. If it just was, I wouldn't say it's magic. I'm like, oh, look at that
Yeah,
horse with the
with a
horn.
fucking horn
But the
on its
fact
head,
that
yeah.
this unicorn can like fly and shit out rainbows, like that's what makes it magical. It's this ability to do something that
but
that
if
no
it's
other-
doing it, without like is a
Yeah, what if
natural
that's a
nature
natural
built-in
thing?
response? Is that will?
Just like
and this is the part where I
Or is
tie in
that
Final
or is
Fantasy.
that nature and it's just kind of a magical nature?
because he makes a
This is
good
the part where I-
point. Because like, is that a biological thing that like unicorns just shit rainbows?
Well, no, but how about this?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's not. It's like a magical kind of thing, but I still think, for human intents and purposes, at least, magic has to have will. Like, I feel like that's a magical
It has to have
effect,
something from
but
inside of you.
I feel
So
like
when we
the
started
nature
talking about
card
that, I
is
didn't.
almost cheating because that goes back to the flying rocks you were talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's gravity. You can explain gravity with science.
But then, can you explain why a unicorn can like cast spells practically and stuff sometimes.
Like poops rainbows.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't buying it when you first said it, but now I'm starting to really buy into your will theory. But the fact that it's able to do something.
No, and I still believe that, but it's like now. But then I guess nature just kind of gets to cheat because evolution also, like we evolved with will, and that's how we, in stories, represent our magic.
Yeah.
Can things just evolve to not need will, or is it like if there's a gecko that camouflages itself with magic, or like a magical effect, does that count as magic, or does that just count as an evolutionary like resistance trait?
So this is a point I wanted to bring up that for me, magic almost feels like an ability. Mm-hmm. If you were to swap out that word with an ability, like you can't describe like rocks floating isn't like an ability.
Why not?
What's the rock doing that allows it to do that?
It's just a property of the rock.
It's a property. It's not an ability.
Okay,
the rock
but then
isn't doing it. Like it's.
But that
not...
gecko who like illusions itself hidden with magic
expresses the will.
That's an ability.
But the difference
but there you
is,
go. But that's not will. But that's just a pre-programmed response. Is that will?
Is it will?
Like a gecko didn't have to learn how to implement its will to do that. It just did it because that's nature.
Because it just knows how to do it. Gotcha.
All right, we're gonna.
It's too
tough.
deep.
I feel like the problem is nature just kind of can't be.
Magical.
Nature isn't magic.
But
It's
then
organic.
It's natural.
So is there a
It's not
nature
magic.
and human magic?
Like will,
I mean,
just
you
like
have
actual
magic that
magic.
like resembles nature.
I get.
Like you go and you look at like what's her name, Nissa from MTG.
Mm-hmm.
All of her spells are like like summon energy of the forest, but like the things she's actually doing aren't stuff that would like occur naturally in nature. It's her magic forcing these things to occur.
Okay.
And again, this still ties into an act of her will.
Oh my God! Wait, but if you're going to magic, then look at Zendikar. The plane of Zendikar is alive, but does Zendikar have a will?
No, it has mana.
Stop.
So is mana just magic?
Stop. Just stop.
All right. We're gonna cheat and we're gonna leave it here because this is just too big of a question. I feel like we all had to write out theses before we could do this.
It's
instead
a
of just,
good
like, 5
question.
minutes
There's
of
a lot
showing
to think
That's-
about
yeah.
because like
There's so much.
there's a line between like, well, is this like a natural thing because it's just like X doing this, or is it like actual magic? Like, is it like something that's not supposed to happen but it happens because of some unseen force?
Yeah.
Some magical
Unseen
force.
force,
Oh, God.
like the last point.
So, well, we'll add the
One more.
one before it as the last thing because that's just kind of the geek out moment at the end that we'll have to celebrate magic. But
Right.
so, this is being the Star Wars nerd in the Star Wars channel. I came up with this at the last second. Is the Force magic?
This is where we're gonna either lose.
I'm gonna let
viewers or
you guys
gain
answer
viewers.
first. I'm gonna. Oh, only lose. Always lose.
Always
But-
lose, never gain.
I'm gonna let you guys answer this first because I'm pretty sure I already know my answer.
So if you asked me this question before the year 2001, I would definitely say the Force is magic.
I agree.
If you go back,
I already know where he's going with this, and I agree.
I'm
Like-
also going to say that I agree. Even
Yeah.
now, it is still magic.
like I go back and I'll rewatch Empire Strikes Back because I love that movie, and everything
Who doesn't?
Yoda does just it reeks of that like the wizard in the forest.
Yeah, that
like,
mysticism, because
That's
that's what he's
all it
supposed
is.
to be. Yeah.
and they do such a good job of explaining in such a way that it's not like. So we explained before that once magic reaches a certain point, you can almost say it's technology, and we didn't really define the line.
No.
The point is,
Once technology reaches a certain point, it's too
magic.
far ahead. Then it's magic.
Yeah.
but
Not
the
literally
point is,
though, but it looks like it.
the point is Yoda explains the concept of the Force in such this vague sense, but you still kind of have an understanding of what it does without understanding the technical details of it. And in that regard, it is kind of magical in that you know what it does, but you don't know how.
Here's what I think. I just got this thought. What if Lucas and the rest of his writers were sitting, right, and they're like talking about like, how can we better explain the Force? Because I don't think people got it the first time. And they had this same
So-
exact discussion. And then
Here's
he
the
just
trick.
said, fuck it, we're just gonna turn them into these little organism things.
So here's the trick: ignore midichlorians.
Ignore. That's what I'm saying. Ignore
So
them because they're
I
stupid.
was referring to this before
Science
the podcast,
deniers.
and I made myself stop. So yes, Tyler the meme again. Darth Plagueis the
Darth
Wise.
Plagueis the Wise.
The book, honestly, so with the expanded universe dead, which I've lamented for, like 3 or 4 years now, still never gonna give up. Plagueis is so cool because he tried to live forever almost, and it's basically pure like Palpatine's surprise that he killed him. Like Plagueis was close to actually living forever. Palpatine's not lying about that when he tells Anakin that. But Plagueis actually has a few scenes in his book where he kills a guy, and as they're bleeding out, he uses the Force to examine their bodies. And he basically says flat out to kind of fix it all, he's like, it's kind of tied to midichlorians. You can kind of trick the midichlorians into staying alive, but then the subject will still die. So it is still like there's this ethereal force there. So it was kind of them being like, midichlorians tend to be attracted by strong... Like, he actually kind of posits the question like chicken and egg. Is it that the Force is drawn to midichlorians, or are midichlorians just more prevalent in beings that are stronger with the Force? But I'm pretty sure he says removing midichlorians would not stop someone from using the Force. I could be totally wrong, and I don't remember it. I need to reread the book for the 50th time. But
I mean, that's pretty interesting because it kind of, like, if you take the example of, like, Frankenstein's monster, the concept of, like, what's someone's soul versus what's someone's body. You can reanimate a corpse, but can you, like, tie a soul to it, that kind of thing. Like,
oh, yeah,
you have
that's
this,
good.
The Force is this, like, non-tangible thing, whereas you may need... you may need a body for a soul to be here on Earth, but like you may or may not need midichlorians for the Force to work. Like that kind of tie.
Like Rogue One. Like I like how they kind of like illustrated that, in my opinion, in Rogue One, because there are these people who clearly were not Jedis, yet like they implied heavily that the Force was in action during those events, which I thought was pretty cool.
He's using the Force.
Yeah, or what's his name? Donnie Yen, right?
The Force is with him.
Yeah, the Force is.
The Force is with him.
But like, not even just him, right? Like, I would assume that they implied that like other people like had the Force on their side. Like,
well, I mean, that's the thing, though. The Force. That's actually why this is such an interesting question. Because if we believe that the Force is kind of like destiny while being something you can do things with, is the Force magic, or is the Force kind of its own entity here? Ooh.
So there have been series in the past where the element of magic is its own. It is its own entity, but it still is distinctly magic.
So you're saying like mana?
Clean divine. Essentially, yeah.
Because there is, so in the Darth Plagueis book, near the end, leading up to, this is years before the Clone War, you remember how everyone always complains that the dark side clouds everything in the prequels?
Yeah.
Plagueis and Palpatine actually have a thing where they meditate for like a week straight and supposedly tilt the Force in the galaxy towards the dark side.
What?
That literally... They just kind of set it sliding that way.
What the hell? Now, before I forget, is this book canon?
Well, no, not anymore.
No.
Nothing is. But
Nothing's
it's
canon
more canon to me than like stupid Rebels or anything like that.
Stupid Rebels, stupid.
It's not a Star Wars discussion for me if I don't insult the Clone Wars and Rebels TV shows. And then have everyone be like, but Tim, parts of them are great. And I'm like, but the animation looks stupid.
The animation looks really fucking dumb.
Yeah,
a truly endless cycle.
Yeah, and you're talking about the 3D one, right? Not the 2D. Yeah, okay.
Oh, the 2D one is
not
one
the
of
good
the
one. We're talking about the bad
Yeah,
one.
the 2D miniseries was one of the coolest fucking things I've seen.
It's still one of the best Star Wars things ever, even if it's totally not realistic in a lot of ways. Like Jedi are way stronger than they should be, but watching Grievous demolish people at the start of that
cool.
season 2 bit was just so
it's so
sick.
cool.
He's so much more menacing in that than he ever is in the episode 3. Oh my god.
That's what I like about these side Star Wars things.
Jedi.
I know it's like a little off topic, but man, like they go more into depth of like what the Force can do, and they reintroduce these characters like, oh yeah, like this character didn't do anything. Oh shit, they're actually pretty cool. But I'm not including Boba Fett 'cause I still think he's a bitch. And that's where we lose viewers. That's how we lose viewers.
I don't know. I still feel like the Force is magic. It is probably kind of like that ethereal floating out there energy. Like the problem is almost like it's such a sub theme that we've kind of forgotten it, but I feel like almost everything has kind of ambient magic. Kind of like where the line I feel like maybe that's where the line blurs between like nature magic, like natural things that just happen.
Like whether it's ambient or
versus
whether
will.
it's of your own will.
Because if it's just floating out there like those magic rocks, maybe in another world people can draw energy from those rocks and use it to power their spells, and then it's kind of just real magic because you're using that energy for your implementation of will.
Right.
Yeah.
It's such a
the
complicated
Force is
topic.
Yeah, it
weird.
has to do.
It's like it's a weird thing. And the worst part is though, I almost feel like these movies they're gonna really explain and get down to like what the Force is, and it's
Oh
gonna
my God,
kill the
that's why
mysticism.
The Last Jedi. It's so dumb. They're gonna kill it.
They're gonna kill it. I have a strong feeling that they're gonna kill this mysticism.
I'm so
And
worried
it's
about
gonna
The
be
Last
terrible.
Jedi. I'm already pissed that Luke is like, I gotta give up on the Jedi because Kylo Ren went evil.
I thought that was
I'm
out of character.
optimistic.
By the
I'm
way.
optimistic about this.
You know
one.
what was so sick? How in the books, Luke has like 3 failures in his first class of 12, and he's still like, no, I'll make the Jedi work because we do so much sick good stuff.
But like he,
And it's like,
it doesn't make sense
yeah!
because like in my opinion, like knowing who he is, right? Like the Skywalker line is supposed to be like the balance, right? So like obviously they're gonna be all over the damn place. He would know
So-
that there should be some balance. Like obviously there's gonna be a few bad eggs in the batch.
Well, so the idea was, the stupidest thing is that Palpatine is like the strongest Sith Lord ever, and it took Anakin wiping out the Jedi and killing Palpatine to even the scales.
Yes.
It's like, come,
Apparently.
like really?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Which is
don't know.
weird because you would think. Well, then again, we don't know. At least I don't know anything that Palpatine has done. But I can only imagine
I
that
know.
killing off an entire village of people, and then later on demolishing like a bunch of kids, and then later on decimating an entire planet. I feel like that would tilt the scales a lot.
I mean, do you attribute everything the Empire has done to Palpatine? Probably.
No, I'm just talking about like. Well, yeah, probably. I would probably assume, yeah, like attribute
Palpatine's
a lot
super evil.
He is. I just want to know like what other things he has done
Oh,
in
man.
addition, because that's
Well,
the thing.
no,
You don't
here's the other
know.
thing. Not only does he run the Empire, he ran the Confederacy, technically.
Oh yeah,
He did. He was
Yeah.
running both sides.
yeah, true, and you know he's done bad shit before all that too, just to
Another-
get there.
Oh my god, he's
He's a bad person.
so... You guys gotta read... If you guys only want to read one Star Wars book, go read that Plagueis book.
I am, because you know
Yeah, I
what?
gotta
I'm
check
this
interested,
out.
because that
It's super cool.
I know it's a meme, but like when I was watching the
definitely not a
movie,
Tale
though,
of the Jedi,
I
I would
was
tell you.
I was actually interested though. Like I was like, this would be kind of a cool like bit of Star Wars knowledge to learn about.
That one more than almost any other book really dives deep in a good, reasonable way. There's like so few characters. It's basically... It starts when Plagueis kills his Sith Master, and then it ends with Palpatine killing him.
Man, that's just a cycle, isn't it? Just they
It's
keep
so-
killing their
It
Sith
is.
masters.
It's perfect. It's so good. But anyway, we're gonna end with the final thing on what is magic. What makes magic cool?
What makes it cool?
Why is magic so prevalent everywhere?
Because like it's humans or anything. Just at least for our realm, you don't see things like that, right? You don't see, like I mentioned earlier, you don't see.
So you're kind of
Humans-
saying it's the mysticism of it.
Yeah. Also, like there's also a mystery to it, right? Like you don't fully know what it is. You can get an idea, right? But like
Mhm.
it kind of what we're doing now. It leaves it up to interpretation and discussion. later on.
See, I think actually going back, like for me, what makes it cool is going back to my definition. It's a way to express yourself physically without having to be strong. Like you don't have to be this jacked guy to like move, like to just. It kind of carries a lot more weight to it than just like you don't have to make a character who's just so strong that they can beat everybody up. You know what I mean? Like a lot of animes, even without magic, are like...
Oh, yeah, you have that, like, the main character's underestimated, but he's got the special ability.
Yeah, the special
Yeah, or even
ability.
just, like, he has the spirit, and that's, like, the closest they come, but it's not even always magic, it's just the will.
It's
But
it's
magic
like the
is just
motivation of the character to do this thing that...
Yeah, it's a way to physically manifest that desire.
Yeah, like,
And that's, I think, why it's so cool and why everyone likes magic and why everyone wishes they could do magic.
right. Well, I think most people are greedy, and they just want to be lazy as fuck. That's my opinion of the human race, and they want to learn magic.
You're not wrong.
It's like, oh, I just want to levitate. I just want to grab a beer from the fridge without even leaving the couch.
Nah, see, I don't want that.
I don't want that either. I want to learn.
You gotta do the big scale stuff, dude.
Yeah, like
You gotta
I
shoot
wouldn't
fire.
want to waste it. Yeah, I want to learn. Like, oh man, if you guys knew about King Killer Chronicles, 'cause it's basically alchemy, but they call it sympathy, where you tie
Interesting
two
title.
objects together. It's almost like voodoo, right? But like
Oh,
as long
boy.
as you like sympathy, as long as you can tie two objects together and like imply your will. They even say it in the book, I think. Yeah, imply your will on both of those objects. Both of those objects are tied together. And like you do really cool, and like sympathizers can like do really cool shit with it. Like when Leslie's done, you should check it out, because apparently you blow through
just-
books.
I did finish Witcher, and I am looking for something new.
Yeah, well when
But then I
she's
have to
done
buy-
with that,
But I have to buy everything on Kindle.
or you can just borrow Leslie's copy.
But I can't read those at work. Like I only read while I'm at work.
Oh,
and
I
things
got
are
Yeah, you gotta be
slow.
discreet about it.
And I just have my Kindle sitting on the corner of my desk with the screen on.
Gotcha.
It's like I can't really shove a novel with an open cover right on my desk.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my
It's not-
problem. I like the
not very
tangible
subtle.
pages.
I do too, but I can't hide that I'm doing
Yeah,
that.
fair.
All right, so that is our. I feel like we didn't even really get in deep as much as I'd hoped, but that's just
It's
because
hard
there's
to.
so much.
It's a hard question. It really is a hard question. And you know what?
This would be like you could practically run like a summer course just of discourse.
If anything,
I'm just like, what is the concept of magic?
yeah, I would like to pose this question to our audience. What do you guys think of magic? Like, what is your definition of magic?
Yeah, let's see if we can get. Well, we're also definitely. I mean, if we ever had questions, we would definitely take like a Q&A section at the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have any, and we probably won't get any. But you know, if anyone has any questions, I'll try to save them for the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always up for answering ridiculous questions.
So we're gonna end the podcast in a minute here. We're just gonna kind of close on what's is anyone doing anything cool or reading anything cool or playing any cool games or anything for the next week, and we'll just work our way down from Freeman. Why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so I know we discussed earlier that I had been doing a thesis, and I just wrapped that up yesterday. So suddenly all my free time is back, and I've been putting off playing the whole world. I've been putting off playing Persona 5 since it came out like a month
Oh,
ago,
snap,
Oh my
dude.
and
God.
I've been dying. I've been a
I've
huge
heard
fan since
good to
Persona
great.
3,
Oh goodness.
so I'm just dying to play this.
That's good. That's good.
TV, reading, anything?
I mean, I've got a poker tournament I'm going to on Saturday where I
Whoa!
expect
Oh, high
to
roller
win the whole
over
thing.
here.
That's not a real tournament. It's like 8 people, but it's my friend's birthday, and they still haven't caught on that I have a really good poker face, so I'm probably going to win for the 4th time in a row.
You're
so.
charming
Oof.
with your voice, obviously.
Oh, so does that mean no magic on Saturday?
Not on Saturday, no,
Damn.
unfortunately. It's
He's
his
playing-
birthday. I can't turn him down.
He's playing a
Keep getting
real
burned.
card game. That 52 card game.
Yo, I've said before I'd love to play poker with everybody, like Texas Hold'em, not Texas.
God, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it with our group. Maybe with you
but
two.
Poker's so fun.
Maybe with you two and maybe Luigi. I don't know about like.
I feel like everyone else will get way too personal about it.
Not even just that. I could not. I wouldn't, for the life of me, be able to read Leslie or Val. I feel.
You don't need
Not
to
even-
read them though. It's just about fun.
I
Like,
do,
I don't
but
try
I
to read
try though.
people.
Oh, no,
and
it's about
terrible
winning.
For me.
Well, okay.
No, I know.
Anything else, Freeman?
I know.
No, that's it for my week.
Tyler?
Oh, so free comic book day is this Saturday.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be partaking in that. And then
Go to like 5 different stores.
no, I'm only going to one. I'm only going to Fat Moose Comics and Games in Cedar Knolls because number one, they're not packed. Number two, I know the owners like pretty well. Like they're pretty cool guys. Also, the other comic book shop that's around here gets super packed, and it's like even
Ugh.
it's a smaller venue, so which makes me doubly not want to go. So I just go to this one place. They usually have everything I want anyway, so. And then I want to see if I can beat Horizon Zero Dawn this weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, this game is great.
How many hours do you have on that so far?
I couldn't tell you. I think
Too
I
many.
have probably mid-20s, close to 30.
Whew.
And
That's not
I don't
bad.
even think I'm that close to I think I'm probably halfway through the game. Easy.
Damn.
Like, it is literally easy to lose yourself in this game. Especially with the world building. The world is so vast and the characters are very dynamic and there's a lot of things to discover and do. It's pretty cool. Like if like I said, I can loan you this when I'm done with it.
What, Horizon?
Horizon. Well, you can't.
Yeah, I'm
play
definitely down to try it.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say,
unfortunately.
you're not talking about me because I don't have a PS4.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like if like I'm not playing my PS4. The only thing that I've been playing my PS4.
No, it's okay. I played Bloodborne. I'm done.
I played Bloodborne. I'm done. Wait.
Yeah,
what other
because
games?
Bloodborne wasn't that good.
What are the games that I got? Okay, Uncharted 4 wasn't the best. Oh, you need to play The Last of Us.
Yeah, I do. Someday.
You.
We all need to play.
I can loan you my PS3
No.
and The Last
No,
of Us.
when Val's sister comes back from for the summer, assuming she brings her PS4 back, I could just steal it from her again, because I bought Bloodborne, borrowed her PS4, and then gave her Bloodborne when she went back to college.
Because man,
Because I'm like, all I need to do is frickin' play Bloodborne, and then I'm done.
that topic, I was talking to you, Freeman, about the ending of Last of Us. Man, that's a conversation right there.
I'm
Oh, man.
sure it is.
It-
I've heard things.
Oh my goodness, it has to be hands down. I'll say it right here, just for posterity reasons. It is probably my favorite video game story of all time.
Whew.
Damn.
That's heavy.
Easy.
Dropping the F word. Favorite.
For real.
Favorite.
Because I bring
B
up
word, best.
the best. Like in my opinion, like because I only say this because I don't think I've ever brought up a story that like has brought up a lot of discussions like The Last of Us. Like it brings in a lot of ethical questions, and the characters are very real. Like obviously some things in the game are straight bullshit, right? Like just one dude and a little girl taking out an entire compound. That wouldn't really happen in real life, but it's not even about that. It's about the story and the journey and how these two characters grow, and ultimately at the end they kind of show their true colors, and you kind of ask yourself, well, were they always like this, or did they turn into this person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good.
As for me,
Yeah, what are you doing, Tim?
I'm still playing Dragon Age Origins for the Let's Play. That game's still really good. I think this is like my 4th or 5th time playing through that game ever.
I've watched you
Probably,
play
Oh,
that
nice.
game off and on, like for the Let's Plays, and man, there are some jank parts in that game.
there's some jank, not gonna lie,
Like,
but it's
stuff
still
gets
better than
weird.
Dragon Age 2, and I still need to play Inquisition someday, probably after I finish this.
well, Tim, guess who else has that game?
Well,
I
I'll
could
just
just
buy
loan it.
Inquisition on PC when it's on sale. Well, actually, so the other problem though is that now that I finished the Witcher books, now I want to I want to play The Witcher 3 even
Play
more.
The Witcher? Yeah, dude.
So as soon as Witcher 3 is on sale, that's gonna be my life. Outside of recording and hanging out with you guys is just gonna be let's play Witcher 3 all the time. I need to figure out what game I'm gonna play now that my time slot where I had Rise of the Tomb Raider in is open because I've finished that game.
The Last of Us.
I was gonna do the
What? Who
I
said
was gonna
that?
do the DLC. I was gonna do the DLC, but now I'm like, I just want to be done with Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider was good, but I don't really want to bother with all the DLC. I kind of want to play something
You got
new.
just enough time to play Final Fantasy 13
Yes,
before the big
that's
discussion.
what you should
Yeah,
do. No,
I'll
you should
just
play
cram it.
play one of them. You should play one of them before we
No.
have that conversation. Yes.
No, I don't need to.
Yes.
It's fine.
Get the hell. No, you
I've-
have to experience
I've watched
it.
I've watched Spoony One's review of Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2.
All right, listen, Tim. I'm gonna bring over Final Fantasy 8 in my
and
PS1,
10 and
all right?
10-2.
Oh my god, don't start
And
on
we're
8,
gonna
please.
and we're gonna rage together. We're gonna rage. You're gonna get all my Vietnam flashbacks from Final Fantasy 8. It's gonna be terrible.
Anyway, I'm gonna figure out what else I'm reading now that I've finished Witcher.
I'm telling you, King,
probably one of the other series.
King Killer Chronicle, man. No,
Well, either that
Sphere.
or the series that my sister and Val have been trying to get me to
Oh,
read.
stop! I don't know about that.
Well, they keep
King
bringing it up.
Killer
and-
Chronicle. All I know, I'm only saying this because I know that this is more up your alley.
Probably, but
But to be fair to Val, I don't know. I haven't read this book either, so it could be good.
the bothering power of
The bothering
significant
power.
others.
Oh, I just want to
to
rebuttal.
constantly get on your case.
And I know that we've already thrown enough shade. So, like Val's gonna listen to this, so it's like screw it. And the point is,
I mean, I'm probably gonna send everybody else in the group who's not on here the link to the first
Yeah,
one.
well, like-
They'll probably get
Yeah.
bored by this point, though.
you.
We'll lose him halfway through the magic discussion.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Was it you? You told Val like, oh yeah, like you should read all these things. How many books did she read? That you.
She has not read Jim Butcher's Aeronaut's Windless at all.
So what?
She has read 1 or 2 of the Dresden books, and she bought the first 3 Witcher novels, the 2 short story ones in the first
Right.
novel, and has maybe started it, I think.
So what I'm telling you is, Wise Man's Fear is the way to. Oh, not Wise Man's Fear. Name of the Wind. That's the second book.
I'll figure it out tomorrow
I'll figure it out.
or tonight, because I need to buy a book and put it on my Kindle before I go to work because I don't have internet there. As far as watching, I don't really have a show I'm watching right now. Val and I are I'm trying to get through. We're 2 episodes away from finishing season 7 of Archer, and my
Nice.
coworker has been getting season 8 as it comes out. Even though he said it's not very good, he actually
They're
said
already
he
on
really
season
doesn't
8?
like it.
Damn.
Yeah, Archer Dreamland. He actually said he doesn't like it
Wow.
because he said it's a much more serious, like not funny theme. So I need to see it for myself.
Yeah, I need to
But-
check it out too because I saw that was out. I just keep forgetting that it's there.
Yeah, and then Val wants me to finally start getting back into Korra because I insisted we take a break after Avatar.
Oh, I forgot.
So-
I'm
Wait,
watching
did you?
shows
How far into
lately.
Korra did you get?
We got like 3 or 4 episodes in. I think because remember I commented Korra moves so fast so quickly.
Oh yeah.
Like right away you're off and running with Korra, and it's just like you can't keep up with this stuff.
I mean, it made sense when it came out, and they were like, "Yeah, this is gonna be a 1-season show. It's only 12 episodes." So
Exactly,
It made
and then
sense
like,
at the
oh, wait.
time. I'm like, actually, it's 4 seasons.
But yeah, I the problem is by the time I'm like done playing games and hanging out and stuff, I usually just have like 1 or 2 channels of YouTube videos that I just watch every day. Or like today was Star City Games put out their Commander Versus series. I got
Oh,
like
those are always good.
20 minutes into a 2-hour Commander game that I'm going to watch all of.
Damn.
So that's like a huge chunk of time and I want to watch it because I care about the plays. So I'm probably not gonna play a serious video game other than like League is what I'll play.
What was that?
But anyway. So yeah, this is the end of the first episode, clocking in at just almost 2 hours. The first episode 0 of the TNT podcast. You can, I guess, if we have, I know you guys, Tyler, I know you have at least a Twitter account where people can go follow you. That you probably I know you
Yeah.
don't use it that much, but
I could drop it anyway. I need to start using it because.
go ahead.
What was it at? Here, I don't know. Freeman. That's what I'm saying. I don't use it that much. I think it's Bubba 452.
Let me just pull it up. And
Yeah, it's
'cause I
it's
followed
at
you
Bubba
when you-
452. If anyone can figure out what the 452 stands for, it's super vague. Super vague reference.
Yeah, at Bubba452. Tyler, go follow him on Twitter. Freeman, I don't think you have anything. Right?
I've got like barely any social media presence. I do have a YouTube account where I have a lot of like pre-2010 meme videos. If you really want to watch,
2010 meme videos.
it's AJF16 on YouTube. I don't endorse going to that channel to watch
AJF16.
any of my terrible videos.
Oh baby, is this still?
Oh, should
There's
I?
AJF16.
Don't. It's really bad.
Should I push?
15 videos, 20 subscribers.
Yeah,
I now
buddy.
subscribe to you.
Please don't.
Hell yeah,
I am now
dude.
subscribed. Wombo Combo spoof. High School of the Dead.
Wombo
Is the
Combo,
last
where you
download.
at? Where you at?
I went through these meme phases. You got like Guile theme. You got
God,
Wombo Combo.
those are so
You got
old.
like
Combo spoof. Girl
YouTube poop remixes of like
Oh
Cheeto
my
Kun over
God.
1,000 videos. My all star is Bicycle Wipeout set to the bicycle theme for Pokemon. Underrated classic.
Wombo Combo spoof. DBZ Krillin gets Wombo
The
Combo.
DBZ one is
3,000
actually
views,
good.
dude.
The DBZ one's good. If you have to watch one of my videos, it's the
God.
DBZ
50,000 views on the Phoenix Wright one.
Hell yeah. The Phoenix Wright
Hell
community
yeah.
was fiending for content back in like 2007.
Oh
So
my
much they like this really
God.
shitty video I made.
Okay, so I am a little more broad than these two guys.
Yeah, a lot
If you-
more
although-
broad.
Again, if you're watching this, considering we're only on my YouTube account and downloading it from my personal OneDrive account, we're gonna if there's any interest in this at all, or maybe even if not, either myself or one of these two guys will look into how easy it is to get onto iTunes and Google Play.
It's a lot
'Cause
easier, I
they
think, on
basically-
Google Play than it is iTunes.
and SoundCloud we could also do. SoundCloud's good too.
Could do
apparently.
Yeah, we're gonna
SoundCloud.
fix that.
SoundCloud's
That's
probably
what,
the easiest.
That's what, because I listen to the CinemaSins podcast, and they always do those three.
Mm.
Because everything basically propagates from those three sources. Like the podcast app I have on my phone, I think downloads automatically from like iTunes or Google Play. So we'll see about getting onto there, but as of right now, it's just Timpedia on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. That's about it.
That's about it.
That's about
I would-
it.
So thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying like I would push my game design. I'm like, no, I haven't done that in a while though.
I'm sure when you have something, you'll put it on your Twitter anyway.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. I used to like because when I was working on that motorcycle game, I posted a lot. If any one of you guys want to check out a game I helped make for 4 months in the desert, MotoGP Championship Quest, it's on iTunes and the Google Play Store.
Oh, it's a mobile game.
Yeah, it is a mobile game.
Yeah.
It is a mobile game. Friedman played it. I don't know if I showed you, Tim.
I don't. You might have shown it to me, but I certainly never played it.
I can show you tomorrow. It's okay.
But yeah, that's
outside that, yeah,
It's
that's pretty
okay.
much it.
boom. That's a podcast. We did it.
Yeah, high five.
Yeah.
TNT. I'm Dana. Okay,
No, I don't want to get sued by ACDC.
that's true. It's a good call.